I'm hoping what I said could make you change your mind, though it doesn't really matter when my hands are tied. I'm trying to walk across the bridges that I've burned. My only way to you is gone, the tide has turned. So give me a light, show me what I need. I know I'm blind, but I hear symphonies of your heartbeat. Trapped inside, I forgot to look beyond, I see the other side. So give me a light, show me what I need. I know I'm blind, but I hear symphonies of your heartbeat. Now that's an understatement. To walk alone, I guess it's my repayment. Please give me a light, show me what I need. I know I'm blind, but I hear symphonies of your what a way to go. This incarnation is really wide. The air is getting warm. I know you're the worrying kind. And is there any way, or do you like not being found? In time the light will fade. Don't you know I worry about you all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Don't you know I worry about you? We're driving down the boulevard, cruising with the windows down, feeling like we run this town. Your song is on the radio, the one you always like, the one that always gets you psyched. We've been drinking all the cheap wine all night, acting stupid but it feels so right. I know that we will all be just fine, but tonight I just wanna dance it off. Ignore the world with me tonight. Wanna dance it off. Put your body next to mine. I can't get the smile off my face. Don't really have a reason why, but I don't even have to try. This feeling is here to stay. Let's keep it going all night. Don't stop till we see sunlight. We've been drinking all that cheap wine all night, acting stupid but it feels so right. I know that we will all be just fine, but tonight I just wanna dance it off. Ignore the world with me tonight. Wanna dance it off. Put your body next to mine. I just wanna dance it off. Ignore the world with me tonight. Wanna dance it off. Put your body next to mine. Just wanna dance it off. Ignore the world with me tonight. I went out today just to see the light. It
Welcome to Zotac Cup Valorant, powered by Nvidia and LG Ultragear in association with Crucial and Corsair. This is a cross-region tournament aimed at matching the best teams in South Asia against the best teams in Southeast Asia for a massive prize pool of 15,000 US dollars and the crown of APAC Champions. I'm Like Day, joined by Kremer, and we've got two riveting matches for you today.
Riveting matches doesn't even come close to describing the caliber of teams that we are about to witness. We've opening our day with Fullsense versus Nigma Galaxy. After that, of course, we've got Kingsman versus Action PH. These are going to be some absolutely breathtaking games. Now, we start at our lower bracket. This is a slot in the semi-finals that these teams are playing for. Fullsense, it's surprising to see them here. Nigma Galaxy, even more so. Both of these teams have had to slog through an absolute brutal bracket, knocking out every single South Asian team in the tournaments. But now it's that hometown SEA derby, and honestly, I couldn't think of two better teams to battle it out against one another.
This is going to be incredibly intense. Obviously, Fullsense, known worldwide now, Kremer, being able to take down many teams in last year's APAC LCQ to qualify for the CT Champions. But now we're hearing more localized competition, and we're going up against local warlords in Nigma Galaxy. And it's surprising, Kremer, that with our expertise in the Southeast Asian region, that we are yet to actually encounter Nigma Galaxy in the tournaments that we've commentated. So I'm particularly interested in the performances that they are going to be displaying, because we've got some pretty impressive players on the side of Nigma Galaxy.
And while we haven't cast Nigma Galaxy before, we have definitely cast Fullsense before. These guys are titans. Of course, the Thai team, one of the kind of head and shoulders the best team in Thailand, and for good reason. You have seen some incredible plays from them start to finish. We've seen some incredible plays from them start to finish. 2021 was their year. 2021 was just the whole APAC region's year. We now move to 2022, and I tell you what, if this is but a taste of what's to come, I'm glad we're here, because all four of these teams are just incredible. But Harry, we got to get down to the nit grits. This is the elimination match, and honestly, I will admit, it makes a hair stand on end to think as to who it would be to be eliminated here. I think Fullsense go into this as favourites, but having seen them lose to Kingsman, I can't help but think that potentially an upset could be possible here for Nigma Galaxy.
And not just that, the gap between South Asia and Southeast Asia is beginning to close, Chrome. If we look at this bracket,
It is.
Enigma Gaming
Really is.
and Velocity Gaming picking up maps against Kingsman and Action PH and Team Exploit out of Pakistan. Not necessarily a gamer warlord region, but we've come to respect Team Exploit, and they took a map off of a Champions team. South Asia is closing this gap, but they haven't been able to secure themselves a spot in our top four. And for many, that first result in winners bracket 1.1, Fullsense falling to Kingsman, is going to be a huge surprise. And that's what doomed Fullsense to go into this lower bracket run. And now they've got to do it once more against Nigma Galaxy.
I mean, we talk about Kingsman. They had to fight their way to get here, losing a map in every single series they've played so far. And, for Enigma to take a map off them, Enigma went into this definitely as one of the favourite teams. They honestly had a hard run, having to play against Team Exploit, then Kingsman, and then Nigma Galaxy. Honestly, to have your only defeats against the top two and then top four teams, I don't think that's something to turn your nose up at. However, we are about to move into our video. We can see where Fullsense and Nigma Galaxy are going to pitch this battle. For me, though, there are two players to watch out for for both of these teams, which is John Olsen over on Fullsense, and of course, Zesbu over on Nigma Galaxy. The Jet matchup we've seen, particularly on Fullsense, the Jet matchup is where they poise their attacks. Fullsense is a team that likes going to defaults. They rarely go to executions, but we see defaults, and then once the Jet gets that opening, they explode like a firework that goes off. Jet opens, bang, they hit a site before their opponents can get those rotations in, and before they can find a way to react to, honestly, what is some unrelenting Thai fury.
I mean, there are a lot of fans of Fullsense, right? Recently, Valorant Asia put out an excellent list of 20 APAC players to watch coming out of 2021 and going into 2022. I think all 5 members of Fullsense were on there, and they had a load of members from Team Secret as well, who are obviously also kicking around SEA. We've got to think about the caliber of scrims that are available for a lot of these SEA teams. You've got Team Secret around here, Sharper Esports are all around. Sometimes you can scrim over to Korea as well to go up against teams like Vision Strikers with their new sponsorship. Really, there is so much capacity for all of these teams to be improving. The level of Valorant is only going to be improving exponentially as we go into 2022, because as the SEA gets better, the cross scrims over to SA get better as well. And South Asia is going to be, well, they are still playing a little bit of catch up. That gap is beginning to narrow. We do have some MVP standings for you. We've got the Zotac MVP standings. They're going to be able to show you who the most impressive players are heading into today. And surprisingly for some, maybe, ZBOX heads the table. This jet coming out of Nigma Galaxy has beaten out some huge competition, including Georgie, who in previous tournaments we ran with the Esports Club as our production partner here. Georgie was always at the top of his MVP standings, Kramer. No more. ZBOX decided to take that.
That name we're going to struggle with. We were told how to pronounce it before we went live.
Syllable, baby.
I love how we both looked at that and both said it wrong instantly. And our production team had to go, no, Zesbu. And we were like, okay, we're going to get that wrong. So we do apologize if we struggle with his name. As you can tell from our accents, we are definitely not from this region. That doesn't mean we're equally as fascinated with it as you guys are. Georgie, we've cast him a fair few times. And what's nice about casting him in a fair few tournaments now is we've seen the progression he's made. He's just got better and better and better. And the fact that he is now being outclassed, at least on paper, by ZBOX makes me think that we could have a very good matchup ahead. Something to highlight as well, we don't see any Fullsense players here.
No Fullsense players. PTC, also known as Onliner, will likely be trying to make their run into this MVP bracket. They've got a couple of additional games compared to the SA representatives from Team Exploit and Velocity here to try and make up their chance in the standings of a Zotac MVP. So maybe we might see Onliner and potentially John Olsen start to inch their way into this. But of course, it's a match made in heaven, Kremer, that the Zotac MVP standings would have at number one a player we're going to be seeing in our first lobby in ZBOX. And to be honest, going up against Onliner, that's going to be a massive matchup.
What that does mean, though, is there is going to be a little bit of pressure on Team Fullsense, particularly on John Olsen, particularly on PTC, who has kind of aptly named himself Onliner, considering the climate that we're in at the moment. But I'm really looking forward to this. And what I quite like with Fullsense is because they rely so heavily on these bursts that come from your jet, it means that Lammy Snacks, when he's able to play on that sky, when he's able to get those flashes out, they are usually timed to perfection. And I, for one, cannot wait to see if Fullsense have any of these hybrid flary plays kind of tucked into their pocket, ready to be used in this lower bracket quarterfinal.
When it comes to generating those flary plays, you want players who are so used to working together that the synergy is almost inherent and unspoken. It's simply natural. They run on the same tempo and the same time. That's where Onliner and John Olsen are going to be at their best, cracking open these sides. Let's have a look at the other side. Nigma Galaxy, I think it's fair to say, come into this as maybe a little bit of an underdog. But that means they're playing with house money, Kremer. They're going up against Titans of SEA.
You need to remember as well that for Nigma Galaxy, this is a fairly new team. Crazy Guy and ZBOX only joined the team kind of late 2021. Of course, before that, you may recognize some players. You had Eman and Georgie, who both played for Nigma Galaxy. And of course, over on Action PH, they're clearly doing very bloody well. So maybe Nigma Galaxy are proving to be a side that can really nurture talent. If it's what we suspect, and if that's the case, then ZBOX may have some very good performances due for us.
For me, I'm looking over at Crazy Guy because when we commentated some Vietnamese teams in other tournaments, Kremer, everyone was like, oh, no Crazy Guy, no win. Crazy Guy seems to be a overall
poster boy,
avatar.
isn't he?
Yes, a poster boy of Vietnamese Valorant. And I really want to see him live up to that reputation as one of the greatest avatars and representatives that they've pushed out into the world. And while it may be a contentious point for a lot of Vietnamese Valorant fans that they're not on an all Vietnamese team, sometimes you can show your best when amongst the mixed nationalities of your region to really be able to stand out.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, when we do get to look at this veto, something that you are going to have to really focus on is whether or not we're going to be seeing these more team-based maps. Now, for me, the likes of Fracture has proven to be a very team-oriented map. Communication is key to victory. It wouldn't surprise me if we see Fullsense push us to a map like that purely because they know for a fact that Enigma Galaxy as a new team may have let slip a little bit over Christmas. They may have died down on the practice, and it's only now that they're trying to really push in, which would mean that the kind of confidence that Fullsense have, having worked as a team for a while now, like may be able to exploit. But of course, when that comes to Fracture, you also have maps like Icebox, where aim is everything. And for Nigma Galaxy, I mean, we've seen these guys have aim, that's for sure. We look at our head-to-head. Of course, we have, I believe that's ZBOX versus Johnny Olsen.
ZBOX versus John Olsen in the ADR of 180.6.
That's insane.
Like, that's a stat that you can't just put out here, production, and not expect me to fanboy over ZBOX.
Yeah.
That is absolutely mad. And while they may be boasting a lower headshot percentage compared to John Olsen, sometimes it's not the overall precision that you need, Kremer. If you're going to be playing entries for Jet, sometimes you need a dagger, and sometimes you need a sledgehammer. And in many cases, it seems like ZBOX is becoming the sledgehammer and just doing as much damage as quickly as possible.
So you need to highlight as well, of course the headshot percentage is going to be low. They also pick up the op. So it's always going to be low. You're not aiming for heads when you're on the op. You're aiming for that big fist-sized hole in your opponent's chest. And, well, if that ADR is anything to go by, I think it's safe to say that ZBOX could do just that. With the Jet matchup favouring ZBOX by quite a bit, actually, I'm interested to see if Fullsense are able to match him, because this puts even more pressure on John Olsen, who's now going to have to try and find it within himself, find the confidence to go for these kind of cheeky plays, these 1v1s, and in a Jet 1v1, that could really be what sculpts the outcome of a round.
And in a meta where we see a little bit more Sky and Breach as well, John Olsen has been kind of stepping away a little bit from the Jet. Of course, we will, of course, see Jet versus Jet here fairly often, but Onliner or PTC is often stepping into those shoes, picking up the Jet themselves and thinking, you know what? I'll go up against the Jet. It's a scary prospect. And John Olsen, maybe this head-to-head is going to be more of a what can John Olsen do to stop this Jet from being able to get as much value on the entries via flashes and other things.
No, you're absolutely right. And something we haven't highlighted is that John Olsen also has a very strong Reyna. And when he does go for these double duelist setups alongside PTC, we can see some ruthless setups. Because if there's double duelist, we're going to be seeing PTC go to the Jets with John Olsen pulling out the Reyna. And honestly, that is a bloody scary matchup. That being said, while Nigma Galaxy have the better Jets, at least on paper, you need to remember that when you do see Johan, when you see Carl both step up as well, both with Carl on that Reyna, he's also shown that he's not too scared to bring out the KO, which is an agent that a lot of teams have sort of shied away from in the past.
Should be able to bring up our map veto very soon, and then we'll be able to be a little bit more specific about what kind of agents we are going to be seeing. Kremer, with 15,000 USD on the line, this really is the starting gun for APAC Valorant in 2022. There is a lot of reputation on the line. And the thing is, it's not just about pride when it comes to that reputation. When you are getting this kind of reputation from winning these tournaments, it gives you kind of a clout to be able to book scrims against like top Korean teams and every other team in the region. They will decide we'll play on a worse ping to make sure we can go up against these guys and try and learn from battling against them. And that's one of the things that you really need to consider early in the competitive year to try and get the clout that lets you book those high-tier scrims and make you get even better.
No, you're absolutely right. However, we're going to have to see where this battle is going to be waged. Something tells me it may be all three battles we end up seeing. I'll be very surprised if this becomes a 2-0. And looking at it, Haven, Breeze, and Icebox something tells me, Harry, we're going to be seeing some very big dependencies on the ops, particularly on Breeze and Icebox, where there are these long corridors where these avenues can be made into deep inroads by oppers, particularly when you have the confidence and you have the unfiltered aggression of these TIE, and for Nigma Galaxy, just SA teams in general.
It's no surprise that Nigma Galaxy have decided to bring us to Breeze. They beat Action PH here recently, 13-5, Crema. That's humiliating for a team that's currently in the upper bracket finals, and you'll get to see them later today, by the way, so make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel. You do not want to miss that. And Breeze, sometimes to bring out a KO as well. Most recently in the Zotac Cup, both of their outings, the KO has been seen, and it seems like teams are getting a little bit more laissez-faire about bringing in the robot man and getting a little bit more value out of things like that 0 point. On the other side, I'm kind of surprised we didn't see the fracture that we alluded to earlier in our spiel coming out of a side of Fullsense, because they've played it 3 times in the Zotac Cup. They've won it pretty handily every time, apart from against Next Play Esports, who they went 14-12 against, but still 3 wins out of 3 is not too bad.
Well, while we talk about kind of close games, the last time we saw Breeze get played by Nigma Galaxy, it was against Cloud9, and that went to overtime. So while it may have been a while ago, and while it may have, it was a very different tournament, that being Champions, I can't help but think that maybe Nigma Galaxy might have a bit of just a whole other tier when it comes to how they play Breeze. That being said, though, we're opening on Haven, which means that it's down to Nigma Galaxy to be able to dictate the pace of this series. If they make Haven one-sided, if they stomp Fullsense, then we may be very well seeing what could be at least a fairly close series.
Yeah, to anyone following along on the stats at home and playing Valorant analysts, you've got to very much be careful about the caliber of team that's been played against Fullsense on Breeze. X10 Crit, Vision Strikers, Cloud9, all Champions teams, even if not within the Champions ecosystem for X10 Crit. A huge amount of high-tier expertise is on display here for the side of Fullsense, and I'm really interested in Icebox as our tiebreaker as well, or at least the decider map, because both of these teams, they play the same comp there. They like their double duelist, they take the Sova, they take the Sage, and of course, everyone, as usual, as is the rules, takes the Viper.
That's true. Of course, let us know in the chat who you guys think is going to win. I know we shouldn't, but we do keep an eye on the chat. We do see what you guys say. Just, of course, when we inevitably pronounce someone's name wrong. I think we're doing okay so far, though, Harry. I think we're doing okay. We'll be able to get in game in just a moment. But before we see what you guys in the chat think, Harry, who do you think is going to be taking this one?
For my money, I think that Fullsense have a little bit of an advantage here, but I don't think that I've seen enough ZSPU to tell me that it's cut and dry, you know? Like, I have a look at that 180 ADR. I'm like, okay, that's
a nasty stat, isn't it? It's a nasty stat. I'm actually going to go against you. You think Fullsense, I think Nigma Galaxy. I like an underdog story, and I think that while it is a group of SEA players, it means that their May, where they initially started, could have been a small language barrier. I can't help but think that they've had their time to become first. They've had their time to get in those practice, those reps, and since we've seen them in this tournament so far, honestly, I've really liked what I've seen.
One thing that I want to have a look at here is probably whether or not we're going to see much breach integration into this Haven. I know that against Kingsman, it was played by Fullsense, but it did actually lose that map 10-13. And will that shake the faith that Fullsense have in playing the breach on Haven? It has been popular across the world in different kinds of messes. I know that OCE in particular loved their breach in loads of unconventional environments. So one of the first places to start playing it on Icebox. And Breach and Raze have always had this kind of flirty relationship with Haven, where some teams thought that, you know what, we can get some real value out of the boombot and out of the paint shells in the tight areas and choke points that Haven does present. But Breach also can suffer a little bit from how large the map is on Haven, and while you can play at some crux points that allow you to influence like both A and B or both B and C, sometimes Breach can find themselves a little bit ranged from reaction.
No, you're absolutely right. It makes both of them very situational agents. And now we also look at the last time Haven was played by Nigma Galaxy. They haven't really decided on a composition. We've seen, I think, the last 5 or 6, actually no, 7 times they've played. It's been different compositions every single time. They mimicked the Astra Breach Killjoy once or twice, but that's it. It's been completely different every time they've played it, which makes me think they're still in the experimental stage. And while that is a disadvantage for them in terms of lack of comfort, it's also a disadvantage to Fullsense, because how can you anti-strat that which not even your opponents know?
If we don't know what we're doing, they can't anti-strat.
Exactly.
I think it's one of the tales as old as time when it comes to Haven as well, at least since Killjoy was released. I think she was she was the second agent released for Valorant. I think Reyna was the first. But Cypher versus Killjoy is always a bit of it can be a matter of personal taste. Killjoy, while she does have that reliance upon being at least within reasonable proximity to her utility, with the exception of those nano swarms, to be able to keep it active, you've got to stay in range of both the turret and the alarm bot, otherwise it'll deactivate. It does allow you to play on C or on A while also keeping an eye on B. You can put your turret up in one of the corners on B, and then it means that you don't actually have to put a player in B, because sometimes playing out of B is not ideal. You can be quite easily scouted from window for the attacker side, and some people find it a better use of resources to put 2 players on A. You can put a player over in garage. You can put maybe 2 players on C as well, or maybe you'll have a roamer or a floater who's dedicated to just moving where the action is. And you can just keep it on B with the turret, and that can mean that you have a little bit of a better diaspora and the better chance to try and get some 2 versus 1s.
You're absolutely right. For me, the Killjoy lockdown has a little bit more impact than the neural theft. I do prefer it purely because it can really influence the outcome of retakes particularly, and it can be used to fake sites very well on your attacking side. But Harry, it's a new day for us. We've got our first chamber from Fullsense here, and while the camera from the chamber can help, I think I'd rather see the Killjoy.
Oh, the slows might be incredibly important here, and obviously in the pistol round as well, you can do a lot with his with his big old pistol. That does a lot of damage. Chamber, the ultimate is interesting as well, because you kind of can play vaguely operator-esque, and you can get those teleports away as well. You can kind of do the faux jet, and maybe when it comes to trying to play entries here, like being able to present a threat on one side and being able to have the actual operator on the other, can present a lose-lose scenario. But I'm interested as to why you'd play it on Haven when you have the 3 sites. Maybe they value the real mobility that those teleports can get you to move between, say, C and B, to be able to react quickly and not give away sites for free.
I think the teleports are really what gives Chamber that appeal, because usually with the Killjoy, the rotation time is your biggest killer, particularly if you're caught out just as your turret goes out of range. It can really make life very damn difficult. However, Harry, we did ask the chat just a few moments ago, who do you guys think is going to win? And I've never seen more FSs in my life. I think it was like 1 or 2 guys who said Nigma. Everyone else has said Fullsense. So I realize you definitely have the fans' prediction behind you here, but I want to see NG. I want to see them deliver, because while you may have the reliability of Fullsense, you may have all the reel on them, all the show, you have a very big tournament history from them. I have ZBOX. So really, who's winning here?
That's true. That's a big draw card to have ZBOX ready to go. But what I'm really going to be interested in here, yes, is this chamber. Has it been scrimmed against enough by Nigma Galaxy is the question. Will it be an unknown factor that destabilizes how Nigma Galaxy approach this? But also, is there potential that it might become a touch of a liability as well for Fullsense if they haven't been playing it too much in their own officials?
It very well could be, but nonetheless, here we are, Harry. Welcome to Haven. We're going to be seeing a few frenzies here or there, but a bit of a default for Fullsense to start. It's PTC to launch a bit of a foray out to mid to try and get a bit of information, a bit of control over on B, where it's the Sky who he'll be fighting for this first pick.
Snacks for now, just going to hold down the approach to A. It's going to be ZBOX who continues to probe over here. It's a tight formation thus far. as SBU has claimed themselves a touch of space and a touch of information as well. We've heard the trademark go down.
Oh, Zetsby knows they're coming, but oh, that clear is perfect.
When it comes to first frags to get, that's the most valuable one you could hope for. And PCC's now used this to get the additional overheal as well. 50 shields makes them so much more dangerous in a pistol round. That's 50% more health that has to be chewed through by these small arms.
Luckily, though, PTC, he's just a fake. This isn't the main body of the Force. It's actually going to all be down on the Astra of Nigma Galaxy to try and defend this C site. It's going to be spotted on the jump spot from the Killjoy. But is that enough? Is info enough to stop them, Harry?
4 shots on a headhunter here for Fullsense. The recon bolt has revealed Astro. Good name for an Astro, got to admit. But look at this. Oh, the flank from PTC. They've run out of that overheal. It has actually expired, and Crazy Guy is deep within the back line. The Frenzy simply made a fool of by the small magazine size. And that's a beautiful shot from Astro. John Olsen tries to keep this real. Just in the nick of time, we're going to get the plant. There was only a little bit that was in it. The Ghost now from the Love family up against Astro, who's already shown themselves to be a massive winner. And they continue to be so. Nigma Galaxy come out with a message to everybody. We are not going to be bending over.
Not bending over, and they mean business, Harry. Great round on their part, and I love the flanks. They've realized that there's going to be a deep foray by PTC into their spawn. They counteract it with Crazy Guy going all the way into attacker spawn there, shoehorning the entire assault of Fullsense up through mid over to B, where we can see the flash of Carl allow him to get a bit of damage out, even kills a player and damages another one, which is why the Love family is so low on HP when he goes into that 1 versus 2. And when you are that low, sure, 1 kill's great. 1 kill maybe to even be expected, but it's not enough to take a 1v1 when you're just on a measly 8 HP. It's Spectres round the board for Nigma Galaxy, Harry. They're here to farm a bit of cash against these Sheriffs, and unfortunately for Fullsense, that may mean a very close, very aggressive pistol round, which, well, the chamber pistol could be scary. May not be enough.
5 shots in the head center, but he
I
only
take it
needs
back.
1 for
I take it back.
The Love family has no love for you, and it's headshots across the board. Full sense. They full send on forward. You want to play, baby? Let's play. Out they come with the tour de force, but I don't know if it's even going to be necessary. Looting of Spectres around the board. John also might get a drop here on Carl, and indeed they will. That is a brutalization from Full Sense.
Everything I just said about the pistols not doing much, so I take it back. Fullsense, I'm sorry, guys, just don't do that to me.
Have mercy, my lord.
Yeah, the Love family just destroys them, and that's certainly a way to show Nigma Galaxy that you don't know what business is, boys. This is the big boys table. And for NGX, well, they don't even want to go with the Sheriffs. It's just a full eco now. Just accept it. Move on to your rifles next round. A few kills here would be great. Unfortunately, that is the only pipe dream that may be acquired moving into this round. And for Fullsense, they know it. It's a fast push up from long. And while Crazy Guy is on a bit of a flank, he's had to make noise doing so while PTC leads the charge.
The entry coming through from John Olsen, having picked up the Jet this time around, going up against their counterpart. John Olsen's flicking like there's no tomorrow. However, Johan, quick with the classic Lammy Snack, has been pinged here. So as Astro tries to make their entry, the cover fire is good. It's down to a 1 versus 1 on the site as Chamber took their time to arrive. And that's interesting. They opted out of planting despite they denied themselves 300 credits each, Kremer. And while it isn't huge at the moment, that might come back to be an issue.
It all has butterfly effects, doesn't it? Particularly when you don't get that spike down. And for me, 3 kills with just classics really isn't too bad. Nigma Galaxy, that's something to savor, something to be pretty happy with. But as you move to your full buy, you need to remember that Fullsense have a lot in their bank, particularly Chalala, who's going to be holding on to that Spectre. 7k left in the hedge funds, and, well, there is the lockdown already available for Nigma Galaxy. I doubt we'll see it used so early on, particularly when there aren't other ults to back it up.
A little bit more reserved this time. But SBU considers tempting this, going up against the trademark. That's a lovely spray from Crazy Guy, and PTC is made to suffer for it. They'll reinforce B now with the drone. They'll need to dive within this area, but they see John Olsen making their play forward. Could be vulnerable behind this smoke, so they have to cancel the drone and get back into their own body. Johan wants to make sure that the Love family can't come around the back for free, but where is the spike? It's being ferried in now by the Astra. Chalala will cover their own back here with the smoke, no doubt, before going for plant. It's going to be an all-out battle on B. But I think that this ult might be a little bit late here, Kremer. They already want to exit. Oh my goodness! That is absolutely terrifying. The wallbang is good, and while you reload, you are going to fall on down, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. What does matter is Carl on the side and taking down John Olsen. Shalala remains. Shalala continues to fight, but Crazy Guy simply proves too much. And that's a well-executed retake there from Fullsense.
Yeah, that
Nigma Galaxy.
I actually really like that lockdown. Oh, you also bear in mind that the players who haven't left the site, their only option now is to push and kill that lockdown, which means they've already left the site. You can then take control and isolate players who have just dug in. They do so beautifully. That'll be their second, but as mentioned, Shalala, with a lot of money, is now able to help fuel his team's reinvestment. Vandals around the board over on Fullsense. They've also got a fair few ults to work with. The Cosmic Divide is about to come online for Astro as well, meaning that the lockdown is the only thing we won't see over on Nigma Galaxy. But of course, we've already got the mileage from the lockdown. He's already given us a taste of what he could do with it. It's now down to the rest of his team to show us what the true meaning of Ultimate is.
Sky tucked into sewers. And already, a Hunter's Fury. A huge amount of pressure exerted off the back of Ultimates here from the side of Nigma Galaxy. But they know that they might have to combat against a very well-regarded and well-armed push from Fullsense. Carl stands prepared, going up against PTC/Onliner here. Maybe they'll try to blind this. PTC stands so ready. There's the full blind. That's a great turn away. The reaction speed from PTC is inhuman. And now they decide to move on forward. The Nano Swarm will slow them down for but a moment. PTC waits on the other side of a smoke. The Lear isn't quite where they would want it. It's inside the smoke, Kremer, so it isn't able to blind anybody. And that means that PTC has to back off now.
Crazy Guy in this a very kind of clean crossfire here. Unfortunately, crossfire or not, the Love family, another luck for him here, and he's completely cleared C. It would be ludicrous now for Fullsense to commit to A, having already cleared his site. That divide is going to give the Love family even more room to work with, as they do commit to C, and it's the Jet to get the opening.
Bulldog does well to begin with. A second, a third won't be forthcoming, though. PTC moves to intercept. Your knives mean nothing to me, mate. They have no idea where the Astra is, but they've had a course of elimination to at least figure out where they're not. And now PTC stares down the sewers. They know where they're coming from, but they aren't able to win the body shot battle at range. The spray from a Vandal simply unable to take out the Phantom, but Shalala really is.
Great round there from Fullsense. They're able to follow it through, and honestly, I like how we're seeing such a aggressive Fullsense here. Rather than backing off to sites that aren't quite clear, rather than risking being caught out of rotation, they go for complete aggression. They have players outside A. The family, yeah, you're over on sleep, we don't care. Take your flank, join the rest of your team, and then just completely assault that A site with full force. And, well, that round, it says it all, doesn't it? It works. And for NGX, unfortunately, these are stray rounds that they're winning. They haven't been able to chain them together, so it's just Sheriff's for them now to try and stop the blade storm of John Olsen.
They've already expended one knife. 4 remain here for John Olsen, looking for a headshot. Will not be easily given over. They sit tepid and waiting towards the edge of the smoke, but now Carl might find themselves isolated here as they have moved up in a crossfire up towards A lobby. Oh, Zesbu tempts fate. And Carl will be able to get out here for free, but the sound of that running does betray that there are 2 members who are defending A.
Give me those back.
Oh, sheesh! Jolly boy!
Oh,
down,
my.
Son. That's filthy.
I mean, that's an opening. Anyway, Galaxy on the back foot here as Fullsense. They are making a foray into C, but they're running into a stack.
John Olsen continues to frag on out here with the knives, moving forward with the frenzy. There are no knives remaining, but I've got a pistol, and that's all I need, baby. We'll fall on down, so won't get to save a frenzy, but I think there are bigger problems on the deck right now. 4-2 to Fullsense.
It's a great way to start, but Can they beat the op now that's come out on ZBOX, who has had a fairly quiet start to Haven, but now he has that op, now he has that option, that availability to go for these crazy peaks, to get a kill back off change side, to continue just being all over Fullsense. This is where he starts to do that. If he's killed instantly here, we could see his confidence shaken to the extent where John Olsen just walks all over Nigma Galaxy for the rest of this game.
ZBOX will be denied the easy peek at the top of A. Is that a wallbang dink there onto Crazy Guy? Yikes. The healing has to come on in from the sky. Both the initiators will be playing together now on B. That might limit the info gather elsewhere on the map. PTC doesn't really care about that, though. Instead, they wish to just continue applying the pressure. Well, their chamber... John Olsen! The speed of these reactions is inhuman. Carl stands just outside. They're going to try and cross at the same time as Padron. It's perfectly done! Lovely timing from Carl. What game sense they have! And now the Love family make sure there will be no crunch coming on in from the other side. Down goes a rendezvous. And Carl has to do their best to try and batten down the hatches. Here's ZBOX. They want another, and they will find it. Body shot after body shot, but that's all you need with the op, baby, and their confidence will not be shaken.
I'm really liking that from ZBOX, going for these confidence plays towards the end of that round there, where there's a safety net of if he dies, doesn't matter, teammates trades, they save the op anyway. But what I really, really like, Harry, was the fact that he was able to get those kills. We now see him with that emboldenment, with that confidence. And yes, the timing from Carl was perfect. It just shuts down Fullsense. Unfortunately, just have to move into their opponents there one at a time. And while their shoehorns to a defeat, luckily they have a buy to match that of their opponents. With some aggression over on C, it's the Astra to try and get up close and personal while he awaits the attack of Fullsense.
Trying to change up, Kremer, the speed of this engagement. And covers ZBOX. Oh, that's, I'm interested to see that they revealed their location this early. Shock Dart heads on out. Doesn't do too much damage. And Crazy Guy just tries to do their best to avoid getting pinged here. They'll need to retreat away from this wallbangable area. Don't want to be made a fool of by bullet penetration. Shalala, will they be expected? ZBOX grabs there first. John Olsen tries to close the gap, but as you move your way forward, that's lovely stuff. A separate angle, a new tempo, and a new symphony and chorus begin for NGX. Nigma Galaxy have tied up the score.
There's a chorus and it's building, but I don't think we've hit the crescendo yet. Nigma Galaxy don't take a single point of damage in that round. Every single player gets a huge cash injection. More on top of that is the fact that they now have a big ult advantage. The family one away from the ult in the chamber, but here's the thing. It's not a round sculpting ult. It's very similar to the Jet Blade Storm, where it's great for the odd kill here or there, but it's not instant retake winning like a Rolling Thunder would be, or a Cosmic Divide, where you get a lot of mileage in more than just aim.
PTC tempts fate. ZBOX, we've seen exactly why they're top of our MVP standings here. They aren't going to get pinged, but they will have to give up that angle for now. PTC moves on forward. It's a bait, though. Do they expect Carl in the corner? Surely this is going to be checked. PTC has been fast as they get on these thus far. The guiding light stands ready. ZBOX continues to walk it. This is so intense. ZBOX gets that, and they don't expect Carl, but Lammy Snacks gets up close with the Spectre. Crazy Guy expects this. That's for Spike down in sewers. And this presents a real problem for Fullsense now.
Oh, Charla is hoping for the timing here. Timing is everything, but he's suspected.
Oh, the operator pickup! Apparently not. How have Fullsense pulled this one out of the bag? Crazy Guy did not know. And now Astro has to make the long commute over from C. This is not what they wanted. They had it in the palm of their hand, Kremer. But the false negative that came through from that missed sonic arrow may well have doomed this round. Astro's put down plenty of smokes, but they've got to deal with John Olsen. And if they can get the 1v1 against John Olsen done well, then they've got to try and kill the Astra as well. Astro starts off well. Anything more than this? No. Chalala simply emerges from the smoke. Looking for me?
Oh boy. Oh boy, Fullsense. That was a round they had no business in winning, Harry. A great conversion, and credit where credit is due to Chalala. The absolute second, we see that op get picked up by Crazy Guy, instantly swings out, gets the kill, and then the whole collapse happens onto that site. Sure, it's only 2 players, but that doesn't matter when they're giving that much damage outputs. The ult advantage swings in favor of Fullsense. Lucky we didn't see that much of an expenditure over on Nigma Galaxy, bar the Hunter's Fury. That was a while ago. Now for Crazy Guy, 2 away from bringing that up, but all things considered, he's probably taken a fair bit of damage from the initial Blade Storm of the Jets.
Chamber here. Testing Crazy Guy. And now, moving up through sewers, PTC has been an entry monster. I love how they've divvied up the entry here. So John Olsen's on one side, PTC's on the other. Can they win the first duel? They've seen out the first, but Carl just continues to tap, tap, tap away. And the taps find their mark. And now John Olsen has to pick up where previously PTC started. You want to play? Oh, I think that's actually a direct. If that actually hit John Olsen through the smoke, it was inside them, Kremer. Maximum archery coming here from the Sova. The Love family considers playing here with the tour de force. It's going to be difficult to try and win the Octo here against SBU, who has been lights out thus far. They wait for the smoke to clear. They see the chamber, and the adjustment is instant. Microseconds is all that they need.
Chalala looking to allow another smoke to go down to give a bit more space for Lamy Stacks. That it goes, but Zespew, oh my god, Harry, he's good.
Oh my goodness, SBU, 3K, baby. That is absolutely horrific. Nigma Galaxy continue to keep it tied up. This half is looking neck and neck.
We're only 10 rounds in, Harry, but I think I can explain to you why Nigma Galaxy are in the lower bracket right now. Which is Zespew, when he has that op out, he is unstoppable.
He's
but
went
what
from
that means,
1 and like 6 to 9 and 7.
What that means, though, for Nigma Galaxy, is they're a team that relies on having full buys. If they lose the early game, if they lose their weapons, they lose that first buy, they can get stomped very easily. The second they bring out those guns, though, they are a completely different team, as demonstrated there by a microsecond he sees PTC, but that doesn't matter. Mad advantage now for Nigma Galaxy, and for Fullsense, they're on the back foot, Harry.
Nice peek, dummy. Would be a shame if someone was to snipe you. Inhuman. No, 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 you don't take that jumping again. You did not take that jumping again. You saw... Bang! Zespew got inhuman senses. They can smell them through the walls! Up against John Olsen now. Marshall versus Operator. It's not a fair fight, and the spike is going to be deposited elsewhere. The Shorty makes its checks within, and out comes the Headhunter. They're having to take out one of those shots. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Headhunter in hand. This is the best weapon available right now. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Nigma Galaxy, they have 5 ultimates to move into the last buy here of the round. And they'll be able to bring overwhelming force upon Fullsense. But overwhelming force is already being demonstrated. 2 3Ks in a row from Zespew. This is why he's #1 in our Zotac MVP standings.
He's so good, it's laughable, isn't it? It's actually laughable. There's a timeout called by Nigma Galaxy, surprisingly. I think they know they're going to be against the full buy of Fullsense, so they want to make sure that they have a plan of action before they delve into this. I really like that thought process that comes behind it. As we look over, though, to the side of Nigma Galaxy, Harry, you'll notice that's a lot of yellow next to their agent portraits. That's because they have every single ult available for themselves. I mean, this is as good as it gets.
Nigma Galaxy looking pretty hype on the cams at the moment. Cool, contented, and a little bit confident as well, Carl. Yes, in the vest. Esport athlete. Ready to go.
We need to make an esports vest, Harry. I think there's a
we need
there's definitely a business
vest.
opportunity. Yeah,
sleeves are a tool of a man to keep you down, Kremer.
They are. I say that wearing sleeves. That's a good thing we're a caster.
Oh, a touch of sullen there for our boy John Olsen. They may not have expected Zespew to present this much of a credible threat because, I mean, coming into this, I told you that I think Fullsense are going to win. but ZBU is still a factor which makes me doubt. And ZBU is a factor that is now making me very much doubt.
Oh, look at him, he's going aggressive again now. Into mid. Does he expect the Love family? He does.
It is expected. Family. That's a beautiful opening pick. You've taken out the hero. Do you want to try and grab the operator is the question. Unlikely to, in my opinion. And PTC needs to do the same magic they've achieved before. This sewer entry has consistently been a real winner for the side of Fullsense. Down comes the Cosmic Divide. Carl simply tries to sprint inside. PTC prepares the Empress, finds himself someone who's readying a flash. I'm sorry, mate, you've got one bird in the hand, but I've got two in the bush. And PTC will not be able to take out Johan now. The lockdown will be put into place. And this will clear out the A site, but it may well be broken down by Lammy Snacks, who knows exactly where that's going to be, and then gets a little bit more on top of that. Johan didn't expect the third burst, baby. And now only Astro in a 1 versus 4, but they've done some impressive things before. An appropriated operator for John Olsen will be able to tie this up 6-6 on the half.
I won't lie, Harry. I don't like the late usage of the lockdown there. Yes, we're kind of entering the kind of latter stages of the final round of that first half, but the usage, I would have liked to have seen it a bit sooner, potentially even preemptively there. But unfortunately, that round's over and done with. It's Fullsense to equalize at 6-6, and what it has given us, though, it's given us a taste of the power that comes from ZBU.
Should be able to get our first round replays, or first half replays, going a little bit to give you guys another look back at some of the absolute terror that ZBU has been able to give over unto Fullsense. Oh, hello. That's me. Hi there.
That's us.
This
Hi,
has
Harry.
been a half, Grandma. This has been an absolute half. I'm enamored with Nigma Galaxy. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of sad we haven't got to commentate them before. Because ZBU is something different. We're seeing some great stuff from Astro as well. Some excellent Astro lurks.
No, you're absolutely right. For me, actually, this has been quite a slow game from John Olsen. But what it hasn't been a slow game for is PTC, who has been able to pull up the slack when it comes to duelists. And while he hasn't quite been able to combat ZBU, he's been able to essentially just move to wherever ZBU isn't and then kill people. I mean, the Love family as well, he's had a fairly solid game so far. But Harry, Nigma Galaxy, they're currently equal on Fullsense's map pick.
That's a big but. Oh my goodness. Like, it was interesting that the chamber play allowed them to do the old Uno reverse on what would usually be the freebie win for the Spectres, and huge credit to Chamber for getting that done. But the second that operator got into the hands of ZBU, it felt like Fullsense started to have this half slip away.
That they did. I'm interested to see if from Fullsense there's a change in pace, because when they did go a little bit quicker, when they did run into crossfires as a swarm, they were still able to come out on top. I think that for Nigma Galaxy, they excel against slower paced teams who are holding defaults. That's where they deliver. However, because they were able to do so well with ZBU, they sort of force players into going for these slow plays, these slow defaults, just so they can figure out where the op is, rather than going for the more confident approach to just straight fighting.
Well, with two duelists, you'd have to expect for Fullsense on their defense here are going to have to try and claim quite a bit of space. I imagine we're going to see PTC continue to be a bit of a sewers demon as they were on their own attack, because it's going to be much harder to hold these static areas with a pair of duelists compared to a team that's got a little bit more utility for this kind of thing, like a Sova and a Sky, to passively gather information without taking those peaks.
No, you're absolutely right. And I am surprised about the Cosmic Divides. I don't think the ones we saw were very impactful, I don't think. And for the Astro difference, I think Chalala's getting a little bit more mileage than Astro is. That being said, the smokes itself seems to have worked more against Fullsense than it has for, because, well, ZBU will just hold it and then kill you when the smoke fades.
Oh, that was a very satisfying spray through the two underarmed individuals. Still the Love family here. I think that their chamber has been pretty effective, and
Yeah, I've
admittedly,
liked
the
it.
chamber did their job of sort of like working from behind with the armaments that were given over by their abilities with the Tour de Force and the Headhunter to break things like an anti-eco. We're going to be able to get into the half real soon, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you worry, because Tremor, this is anybody's game, but I think that Nigma Galaxy have a good chance of taking this because Haven, with its 3 sites, you could say that it was a little bit attacker-sided.
Ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. As I'm interested to see if this kind of 6 rounds of the defense is emboldened Nigma Galaxy, and in a world where they could win Haven, what does that mean for Fullsense moving on to Breeze? A map they haven't played since they were against Cloud9 over in Champions, and it makes me worry a little bit. It's the fact that maybe they're a bit out of practice.
I don't know if there's any practice that can prepare you for ZBU.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe clicking exit to desktop on Valorant. That is a similar experience.
Get out of there.
Shalala. I imagine this is going to be... Oh, the Headhunter is ready. And the Headhunter could be the big boy. 4 shots remain. Really is all about the ammo counting when it comes to chamber. And while damage has been taken here by ZBU, they've doubled up on their scouting. I'm not a fan of that, Kremer. Both the Trailblazer and the drone coming in at once at range now. Shalala with a double dink. Oh, that is beautiful play. They see even more up at the top, and PTC just continues to hound them from the sides. They're just nipping away like a swarm of mosquitoes.
Teleport ready.
GX slowly just being harassed no matter where they peek. It's like scorched earth being played by Fullsense right now. And the one avenue of attack that has been found by NGX is over through Garage, but PTC's ready.
30 seconds left.
Slow has been triggered. And so they just stand still, hoping to see someone peek them. A Frenzy here at range will have a little bit of a disadvantage against the Ghost. But we've seen some nasty things happen on the other side of Frenzies. PTC stands prepared. That's a beautiful play!
Oh,
The accuracy, my boy! That's going to be 4. And hello, Astra, a flawless pistol round.
We said Astrodiff. I don't think it even comes close to describing how good Shalala is. When he puts his foot down, Harry, he doesn't just place it down, he stomps it down. And in that case,
He's
he
got his
stomps it on.
stomping boots on.
Yeah, exactly. And with a 4K like that, we're going to be seeing a bit of emboldenment over on the side of Fullsense, because that was a nasty, nasty 4K from him there. Joining him in kill count with John Olsen, joining him in kill count with ZBOX, who, again, for ZBOX, once he has the op, he's unstoppable. But if you could limit him getting the op, if you could try and keep their economy under control, you can try and keep Nigma Galaxy under control. It's going to be a slow push into mid here, spearheaded by the Jets.
Look at this, the elevated angle from the Love family. May well be unexpected. The drone is going to spot multiple members in mid here, but will not see ZBU. Oh, it stays low. ZBU's been unnoted thus far, but it doesn't matter. The Love family still got the same reaction time, and that is a dismiss, but it's just in time. Save me, Shalala! The Headhunter does its job, as too does everything else. Lammy Snacks even adds a little bit of je ne sais quoi with the shock dart.
You had a bit of French to our broadcast. Bonjour, guys. Hope you weren't expecting an English one. It is the coup de grace.
I had the French for Soba for some reason rather than for the chamber.
That's a missed opportunity, Harry. That's a missed opportunity. And you've blown it. We're only like 10 rounds in as well.
It's okay, I'll find it later.
We are, again, against the full buy of ZBOX, but here's ZBOX and Co. But you need to remember, because their economy was under control, he can't bring out the op, he can't risk the glass cannon, and so it has to be Vandals and Phantoms around the board, as Fullsense go aggressive with their SMGs into the lurking Astro.
What can Astro do here? 1 versus 3. They hear multiple players moving on forward. They try their best to lay down suppressing fire. And suppressing fire seems to be enough. 2 for 2 trades. It's not ideal. But when the dust clears, Nigma Galaxy do have a man advantage, and they will be able to find a isolated Lammy Snacks over here on A.
Lammy Snacks now has to be so careful. If this drone sees him, then he's in big trouble. Luckily, it expires. He still has the element of surprise.
Johan. Oh, you were unprepared. You are not prepared for the Johan entry. One speedy boy on the Killjoy.
Well, what was initially going to be the element of surprise is just ruined. That's gone. It's all on to Chalala, and well, crazy guy, he already knows about the angle of attack. Chalala, saving a rifle here is definitely nothing to turn your nose up at, and it's actually a fairly good call as well, because you are so soon into the second half. Having a strong economy isn't quite there yet, so just playing the long game. I quite like it.
Postulate something to you, Kremer.
Go on.
We saw Lamixnex get caught with the arrow in hand. Do you think that, considering the agents they were up against, they allowed Johan to try and take that initial engagement there? Because they were likely waiting for the sound of a dash for that engagement?
I think
So
they were trying to bait the
unprepared
dash.
for the hard run?
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. I think they're trying to bait the dash and allow that to be the aggression. When that didn't come, they were just caught off guard.
Still, good end game play there to save yourself a rifle. That's going to mean that Chalala has a little bit of bank to play with. And John Olsen has finally bought out the operator. No such luck for ZBU.
No, however, if he kills John Olsen, I think we both know where that op's going.
I
We both know where it's going.
Standing ahead.
As it's going to be a little bit utility dumped into a main here. All things considered, for Nigma Galaxy, this is a fairly slow start. They know that Fullsense have shown in the past they like their aggression, and this is just shown here by John Olsen, trying to push his way through sewers, trying to find that man advantage, anything. Even info that they can wield against Nigma Galaxy, because I tell you what, I don't think Fullsense are expecting this game to be as close as it currently is.
Maybe a touch of sweat here. Oh, John Olsen's been missed. We are going to get rechecked, though. Here comes the drone. Oh, I don't think I would have taken that. Oh, it doesn't matter. Crazy guy just peeks that again. You guys know there's an op there. They were preparing Kremer for the Trailblazer, but they peeked it just a touch too early. For all that Nigma Galaxy have done to impress us, that's an amateur error.
That's a big amateur error, and you got a man down as punishment. 40 seconds left. If you are going to commit to this A site, you're going to have to do so quickly. If you're going to rotate, you need to do so now, because you still need to set up, you still need to probe for an advantage, you still need to get entries on whatever site you turn to. With only 25 seconds left, Harry, they've got no choice but to battle John Olsen.
John Olsen continues his reign of terror here. This could be a double swing, though. That's the first. That's going to be a miss. They're going to need to reload real soon, and that means that the pressure could start to mount, but time is going to be an issue here. Carl tries to buy themselves as much space as possible, but where's the spike? It's coming in the hands of the Killjoy. They desperately go to plant it. Johan needs to hold this, and they will. 4-4 for the retake here, and John Olsen has a brand new position from which to try and play. An uncanny miss onto Johan, and now they might be taken up by the turret, so they have to expend a shot on that. The comes around the back. The Chamber with the backstab. They're going to be expected, and while they're moving with the knife, the smoke gets dropped. That is unfortunate for the Chamber, but it might well be all that PTC needs. They get themselves the top up. Carl is up next, but time is becoming an issue as it begins to inexorably slip through the fingers of Fullsense. Moving on forward, they move together. Carl gets their third, and the operator simply has to be saved. Johnny has to give this one away. Oh, Johnny boy, the spikes, they exploding.
As equalizer Harry, 8-8, and while the op is saved, sure, let's be honest, if you are a member of Fullsense, that was no savior of a round. A really, really difficult retake there, and credit where credit's due. I love the Nigma Galaxy initiative. Just double up. Knowing you're against duelists, taking a 1v1 can be a very brave endeavor. Instead, they turn it on its head. They just take two 2v1s, and of course they work out. Even if one of the players under heaven dies, the second one is instantly in position to be able to trade. With that, we see not only an equalizer, but a chance for Nigma Galaxy to start making their own inroads to try and deliver.
One deek.
It's just going to be pistols from the members, though, of Fullsense around the saved ops. We basically kind of Red Army style of just picking it up and passing it along as they continue to lead this charge. But Carl going to hard clear this area, but it's PTC to get the opening.
To get the Devour, though, and John Olsen misses that shot. They're brought down low. And look at the health now on John Olsen. He's on a single sliver, Crema. He's got enough blood in him to fill a biro.
Look at this position on A as well. So much inroads have been made by Crazy Guy here. And he's given his position away. He knows, and the rest of the team know, that A's the point of contact. Crazy Guy surviving is his best bet right now.
That was a great recon bot right there. Cut off for rotations for just a second. Out goes the shock dart, and that does damage to Lammy Snacks. But look at how vulnerable Crazy Guy is. A single bullet might well put them in the grave. And John Olsen, they're going to have a wild time here. They might even die to the turret if they take this peak. Timothy might be the first to get him, but no. The reaction is strong, but now that they're noted here, they're going to be re-smoked. Astro plays from hell, and Lammy Snacks contemplates diving into Tartarus itself. There's the drop down. Crazy Guy is unable to adapt in time, and the crossfire from Carl and Astro's going to be everything. But once more, Carl proves themselves the warlord of A.
Ooh.
John Olsen finds this, but do they have time for the defuse? I'm fairly sure that they do. They'll make up a little bit towards the tour de force, and that is going to be granted, Crema. What an eco off the back of a hero op from the side of Fullsense.
That's a big fumble from Nigma Galaxy. They should not be allowing Fullsense to retake like that, particularly when they are holding on to pistols with a saved AWP in the back line. It's a big, big punishment. And while John Olsen, credit where credit's due, he was able to deliver with that AWP, it was down to the pistols that really did the damage they shouldn't have been. Nigma Galaxy caught out one at a time, offering up 1v1s against the one-shot potential of Sheriffs, and, well, it comes back to bite them. The ult management is there, though. Carl does have those Trailblazers, and that may be what they use to kickstart their push into the safe side.
Johnny.
I've got your trail.
Oh, that's brave to move through the jet smoke. John Olsen is just offered. Again and again, I've got a trade offer for you. I'll give you 2 of our best players. And in return, you give me 2 operator bullets. Sounds fair? Trade accepted, baby. Oh, that gravity. Well, Carl actually gets sucked into it themselves. Oh my goodness, Lammy Snacks. What were they looking towards? There was a distraction in sewer. Noise must have been made. PTC is unable to fight this, but now D is about to approach themselves. The tour de force could be good to go, but these certainly isn't. Shalala is going to be forced to hold on back here. Are they going to actually engage into the lockdown? An interesting choice right here. Still, they have time to escape. And there's no chance to save that operator. But this is going to be an opportunity. In the 2 versus 1, Crema, they've used both their ultimates. They are desperate for this round. But what it will allow them is the ability to go and pick up John Olsen's operator and hand that over to ZBU to allow them to really start getting some momentum back.
That's where things get a bit scary, isn't it?
Oh, Shalala
when
knows.
ZBU gets that up.
Shalala knows.
This is either going to go perfectly or awfully with no in between. And no save on the AWP either.
Might be their attempt to dash it now. 1 less player. They still didn't save the AWP. Maybe they just don't like the attacking AWP.
It would be interesting if that was their decision, because ZBU has been insane with it. I'm very surprised by the thought process there. Well, for Fullsense, as they now move into a reinvestment, look at their money, Harry. They're buying down to almost nothing. Only 50 left in Shalala. For John Olsen, he may just have to hope to get a kill and then use the Blade Storm. Only a shorty on the Love family. This is the ticket for the lead if you're Nigma Galaxy. And while the ping's good...
Tour de force! The teleport out. I'm done, thanks, mate. That will do me just fine. 2 shots, 2 kills.
Comes with a big impact as well. NGX now 2 players down, a circumstance they seem to be all too familiar with, and well, for the rest of NGX, it's a matter of just hoping to find a kill where they can. But John Olsen, he's got his Blade Storm ready. It's the duelist ults now, which is going to be the biggest killer of NGX. And we've already seen what weapons can do without the emboldenment of abilities.
There isn't much of an economic buffer here. Look, 250 credits on Carl. This is, might even be a save here at some point. PTC sees 1, but do they see anything more than this? It's a risky duel to take against the Reyna. Carl
One enemy remaining.
Now they know there's two.
Spike down
PTC, the accuracy is simply unfathomable. What can
30
Shalala do
seconds
here
left.
with the Vandal? They're up against SPU, trying to make their presence known with the fans, who are not just an operator one-trick baby. Avoids getting pinged. Excellent positioning here. Will avoid the third as well, as SPU's exact location is not known. They can still try and leverage this open. They could use the Planestorm if they wanted, but I don't think it's particularly
10 seconds
viable
left.
here.
No time.
Lammy Stack stands and waits. There might not be time, but the swap of the jet POVs real confused me there. John Olsen puts SPU in the ground.
Tell you what, considering all he had was a 1v5 and the bomb was nowhere near him, the fact that he was able to push out, kill 3 players, and force out the ult from John Olsen really isn't too bad a commitment there. We see the timeout called by NGX, understandably so, because they have been fairly shaken recently, and when your opponents are but 3 away from a victory, you need to find a way to recover and quickly. Now, personally, I'm really liking the usage of utilities, particularly of ults from the chamber, as well as many of the duelists, actually, but particularly the chamber. Now, the supporting ults, particularly the Trailblazers, we haven't really seen any mileage from. Same can be said for the Hunter's Furies on both teams. They're available now as we move into round 20, but I just haven't seen it, including the first half. We haven't seen those ults, those Hunter's Furies, give the impact that we're also used to seeing, particularly in the APAC region.
However, we've got to remember as well, this is the Fullsense pick, Grammar. We expect them to come out a little bit stronger than this. And even if Nigma Galaxy can't pull out a map win here, I think they're going to be very emboldened by what they've managed to do on Haven, because guess what? We're going to Breeze, and Breeze is even more dictated by these long-range weapons, by the marshals, by the operators, and ZBOX has far and away been so impressive on that so far that I think they are going to feel confident no matter how this map ends.
No, you're absolutely right. ZBOX is going to go for a bit of an opening here with the Blade Storm, but Chalala just play the patience game.
Hunter's Fury, Chalala caught within the gravity well right here, but just holds their nerve and keeps it calm. John Olsen's entered the site, but Chalala continues to tear through everybody. It's a massacre of Enigma Galaxy players. Oh my goodness, you're all constellations now, boys.
Tell you what, you ever wanted to know what it looks like when Fullsense are on full power? Well, that's it. Chalala, he's one of the highest impacting supporting roles we've seen. You know, Chalala, he plays Astra like it's a duelist. He uses the smokes to perturb vision and then just swings from them, doing damage constantly. I really like the playstyle from him, and it really works, particularly against NGX, who quite like these mass pushes to sites. ZBOX, once again, without an op against the full buy of Fullsense here, and I just can't help but think that if we don't see an op soon, we just won't see it for the rest of the game.
Here.
They do have a chance to appropriate one from John Olsen if they can defeat them again, but last time, that was left by the wayside, whether forgotten or decided against.
For now, presence in mid. Tempted here. Now he stacks. Just forced out of position. ZBOX hopes for the opening.
I think there was a missed shot there from John Olsen, but PTC, if they can wrap behind. Oh, if they've heard this. Is PTC going to try it? Yep, here comes the wrap. Easy clap. One tap and done. A dismiss away. Thanks, boys. Great bait and switch. These duelists working in tandem. Absolutely beautiful.
Really just gets the hell out of there. Why not? You're a man up. You're so close to your match point. Don't overextend. Don't get too cocky. Don't let it get used against you. Carl now having to work desperately to get information to make up for that lack of player. And it's going to be Chalala to keep dropping these smokes to continue obscuring vision. As Lamisax hides backside, it's down to the rest of NGX to try and assault C, where the Love family and Chalala lay in wait.
One shot left in the Headhunter, but right now all we really want to worry about is the Vandal. Chalala is inhuman, man! I refuse to believe that Chalala is actually a Homo sapien.
There are some things he does which are just inhuman, aren't they? And once again, he's tested on C, and once again, he shows NGX that C, it's off limits. You're not allowed. This is Chalala's world, and you don't want to step in his domain. Looking at the ult management as well, the Cosmic Divide is ready, the Empress is ready over on PTC. This could be used to give that final nail into the coffin of NGX. Bear in mind, Carl, one away from getting those Trailblazers up, but those are the only ults on the horizon. Johan is going to have to get 2k if he wants to bring out that lockdown, but Johan has really struggled these last few rounds in doing just that.
PTC avoids the bounce, Viop still gets its man.
Got your trail.
SBU gets a taste of their own medicine, and it's already looking bad here for Nigma Galaxy. One player remains and one player will fall. Crazy Guy was the last and hits the bottom, but it's still going to be a map claimed. And you can see from Lammy Stacked, it's a little bit of relief because honestly, Fullsense were pushed.
They were really tested, actually. And while Fullsense were able to deliver, while they were able to give us a great performance as well as take that map, I think Nigma Galaxy have definitely shown us that they are a team that not only needs to be feared, but respected.
Oh, Kremer, it's early in the morning. It's early in the show day. We're only one map in out of potentially 6 today, but already I am on the edge of my seat. This is going to be a real adventure. And honestly, I think this is going to 3. If you can consistently get ZBU, that operator, on Breeze, I don't think that Nigma Galaxy are going to be stopped there. And I think we're going to see this double duelist versus double duelist engagement on Icebox.
No, you're absolutely right. And honestly, it may not even be an Icebox. We're going to see it on Breeze as well. This double duelist setup has worked so well for Fullsense. I am in love with PTC's Reyna. It is working so damn well, as well as Chalala's Astra. It's something we've seen him use time and time again, and it just has been so consistently strong. It's really impressive how he's one of the few players who can make Astra have the same level of impact as a duelist every time.
Chalala simply aims different here. At the Zotac Cup Valorant, we are down to only 4 teams. At the end of this series, there can only be 3. I know you're going to wait with bated breath. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back after these highlights, which are going to pop up on your screen right about now, because, I mean, there's a bunch of them from Haven Kreml. Let's have a quick look at some of the best moments from this game.
Honestly, there are a lot, aren't there? There are a lot. For me, I feel like the whole defensive side of NGX is just going to be ZBU, but it's Chalala for me who takes the cake. And while he doesn't have too many rounds where he stands out as insane, he does it consistently.
I think that Carl also had their moments as well. Like it really felt like Chalala was the ruler of C, right? But when it came to A, Carl was a bit of an intimidating faux duelist on this Sky. And Sky definitely had her time in the limelight in the latter half of 2021. It was almost mandatory that if you were going to be a championship roster in Valorant, you needed a top tier Sky. And I've loved seeing the innovation on the chamber. The Headhunter is such an effective tool in some of these force rounds where you're trying to take out an anti-eco. And I honestly think that if the hadn't been able to pop off in that second round up against those Spectres, we may have seen a very different outcome in this entire map. That might have been a turnaround that gave a little bit of breathing room to Fullsense that they desperately were going to need to exploit later.
No, you're absolutely right. And it was just a solid performance all round. Honestly, for both teams, there were a few mistakes from Nigma Galaxy, and that's all where you see the difference between a team that is, best in APAC good, and a team that is combating to be best in the world good. And for me, it was Nigma Galaxy who made just small mistakes, which Fullsense were able to punish and give themselves that lead. If Fullsense were also making mistakes and Nigma Galaxy punished them, or better still, if Nigma Galaxy were making less mistakes, we could very well see a different outcome. And that's the knife's edge this game teeters on, and that's what I think the series is going to teeter on as well. It doesn't matter how good these two teams are. They're both unstoppable. It's how many mistakes they make.
I think for me, if I had to identify someone who I want to see step up, it's going to be the Avatar of Vietnam, in Crazy Guy. I want to see maybe a little bit more value out of those shock darts and potentially a touch better gunplay. It feels like they're very rarely a major factor in these gunfights, or at least these team gunfights, when it comes to ascertaining where the hit is going to come on through and how to stop it.
Oh, you're absolutely right. He is able to, by reputation, we're expecting a big player like Chalala. And while he is, hitting the odd gunfight, he's not having these huge, 3, 4Ks consistently that we were seeing from Chalala. And that matchup is going to be tough, I kind of would like to see more from Astro. Granted, Chalala's a tough man to come play against. He's a tough guy to beat. But I feel like for Crazy Guy and Astro, they were being a little bit lackluster.
Shalala, what a story. What an Astra. You told me that I couldn't play Duelist? No. That's where you're wrong, mate. I'll play the Astra Duelist all day long, and Shalala really is making the most out of playing the Lurk on C and continually getting this wrap. And to be honest, I'm surprised that Nigma Galaxy didn't have more affirmative action to try and stop this. Crazy Guy getting baited in there by the op as well. PTC and John Olsen. It seems like one of the things we highlighted in our pre-game spiel is that I wanted to see these guys have an almost non-communicative bit of synergy where they just inherently understand each other. And being able to pull out these kinds of baits and switches is so important. Here is your Zotac MVP for this particular map. It is going to be Johnny Olsen, of course. 22, 12, and 2. That's a lot of 2s, Kramer.
That's a lot of 2s. And on the topic of 2, there are only 2 players, I think, who deserve this MVP. Both John Olsen, but also Chalala. I think for John, he had a bit more impact on the attacking side, whereas Chalala was really able to step up over on that defensive side, and he was able to deliver. Both John Olsen and Chalala can keep this up, moving to Breeze. I think Nigma Galaxy may be in a lot of trouble, particularly with Zesbu, who, when he didn't have the op, was really looking fairly average, which is not what you want from your star player Jet.
And what we really need to discern here is whether or not Zesbu didn't grab the op because it was a choice, or because they were too economically constrained by being unable to string together rounds on their attacking side. Here's a quick look at our scoreboard. Carl coming up at the top here. I do think they played a good faux duelist, and we have noted that Carl on their Reina is going to be someone that really needs to be looked at, especially over on Icebox. But PTC, when it comes to that Reina as well, they are no slouch. And I like how Fullsense seem to have their own specialist areas of these maps where they seem to absolutely have themselves a little fiefdom of frags. Like we've got Chalala on C, PTC playing out of sewers on A consistently, where they know every angle so well that their crosshair placement leads to frags that they probably shouldn't be getting in 1 versus 2s.
No, you're absolutely right. Nonetheless, though, for Fullsense, that was a hard-earned but well-earned victory as they go 13-9 up against Nigma Galaxy. We're going to take a quick look at the map recap here. Of course, it's going to be Breeze, our next map, Harry. If I was Fullsense, I'd be really trying to focus now to make sure that you don't allow us to get pushed to a 3rd.
And now we have to think about not the Astra battle, Kramer, which we saw between Astro and Chalala, but the Viper battle. And that brings in a new high-tier, top-notch ultimate in the Viper's pit. In the break, they need to figure out how they are going to be using this in terms of tempo, because we've seen things like 2 ults used in a 2 versus 1 from Nigma Galaxy before when they're desperate to pick up a round. How will the Viper fit into these plans? You can find out all this and more at the Zotac Cup Valorant after this break. Zotac Cup Valorant returns, and well, in partnership with Nvidia and LG Ultragear, we are showing you some of the best teams that APAC has to offer. Only 4 Southeast Asian teams remain, but at the end of this series, that's going to be 3, and potentially we're 1 map away from Nigma Galaxy being eliminated after the conclusion of Haven. Let's bring up our map recap, Kremer, and we can start to talk about what we're expecting over on map number 2, which is going to be the pick of Nigma Galaxy.
Honestly, I'm expecting complete carnage, Harry, start to finish. We saw some incredible games there from both John Olsen, from Zesbu when he had the op, and Shalala. Now, Fullsense, they were very good because they had more than one blade to their attack. Whereas over on Nigma Galaxy, if Zesbu wasn't delivering, then no one else was. On Fullsense, John Olsen dies, that's right, you've got Shalala, you've got PTC. It meant they were able to go for more aggressive plays, they were able to go into defaults a bit more effectively, whereas Nigma Galaxy had to congregate quite a lot, had to coalesce to the site they were choosing to attack, purely because they relied on Zesbu to get that opening.
Zesbu definitely going to be so important when it comes to taking these sides. You can see that Fullsense have opted into the defense first. And admittedly, Breeze has gone through a couple iterations of metas, but I still think that Breeze is a little bit attacker-sided. So I'm interested in why Fullsense have decided to go over on the defense first. These sites are very wide open, and admittedly, that makes it a little bit more difficult to get some smoke-based executes that you might be able to get on sites like Haven on A, where you can put down a bunch of Astra smokes. But it does mean that you can kind of play some fakes with your Viper wall, and most crucially, when it comes to a map being potentially attacker-sided, there's such a large commuting space between the 2 sites that if you can outnumber some defenders on one of the sites when you get that hit, it means that it's going to take forever for reinforcements to arrive.
You're absolutely right. I like the pickup of the Cypher over on Johan instead of the Killjoy. I think it has a bit more effectiveness because the sites are so far apart. Those turrets, they're just going to fade off in the future. Astra, of course, going for that Viper. Carl going from the Sky to the KO. I quite like that. You still get that flash. KO, of course, having a bit more versatility over on Breeze. And Breeze appears to be similar to how we see Split being the only place we see Raze, really. Carl, for KO, it's the only place over on Breeze. Shalala, I'm arguing about a chamber, though, which I think is a bit interesting.
See, this is a classic tease for a new agent, but the thing is, they played it on Haven, so it's a chance that it's real. And Shalala certainly has the accuracy to get some real mileage out of chamber. Interesting that we've seen the move over from a chamber that they played on Haven to the faux controller on the defense here. They're going to be the ones picking up the Viper. And that means that Shalala is going to have a little bit more free reign to choose a Sentinel to try and play here. There's always a chance that they also will pick the chamber, running low on time, so eventually they're going to have to lock it in. But Shalala is going to keep us all waiting here, and, well, I'm glad that we waited, because it is going to indeed be the chamber, and that means that you don't necessarily need to play the economy game to get an operator on the field.
I'm happy we see the chamber. I'm really happy we see the chamber. It means that we are going to be seeing some very, very aggressive plays alongside the Jets. And while the chamber actually had a fair bit of impact over on Haven, it's going to be interesting to see if he has that same impact on Breeze, where, bear in mind that being relatively close means that Headhunter can have a bit more accuracy. The range game may actually play against the chamber, particularly in mid, where you have some very long angles to work with. However, we're going to head straight in game. Let's see who is going to be able to take the second map. Will it be Fullsense taking the series 2-0? Will it be Nigma Galaxy striking back at their Thai counterparts? The investment looking like a few frenzies here or there, but nothing really to set your heart afire. What is interesting, though, is the Nigma Galaxy, what looks like maybe even tease of a fake here, with Astro over his way, while the rest of the team stack up outside B.
Oh, the wall is there, and that's got 3 members of Fullsense waiting with bated breath, but they are going to be going into the chamber. And in these pistol rounds, it's all about the chamber. And on Breeze, that Headhunter is something you've really got to look out for. With the ADS and no damage fall off, it can play as if it was a Vandal. 1 tap to the head is all that's needed. And I like how they covered by the frenzy as well. We've got a good mix here of both long and short range. The Headhunter's already starting to get its man, but TPing away. Zesbu makes sure there's no mercy there. 1 kill is all the chamber gets, and this is what I'm talking about. It takes so long to reinforce this site. No one's going to cross the path of the lurk here. Currently being activated by the Sova, so it is going to be a 3 versus 3 on the site. And Carl doesn't have the ideal weapon for this engagement range. A Frenzy up against the Ghost right there would not be particularly well informed as far as doors go. But the spike continues to tick faster, faster, and faster. A Trailblazer tries to open the way. The scout coming in from the other side. So much information's going to be revealed. And the pings come on through. PTC showing once again their duelist chops on the sky. A tap on the spike. That's going to demand a little bit of a peek. As Crazy Guys revealed from the back, they send out their preset darts. Question is, do they have the time? They've hit the halfway. It should be just about there. Do they have the bravery? 0.03.
Oh my God.
Just in the nick of time, Nigma Galaxy will take the pistol round, but crikey, Kremer, this is how close this series is. Tenths of a second.
Hundredths of a second. The 0.03. Harry, that's the closest I've ever seen in my life. That is so crushing if you're Fullsense. Bear in mind, they just had an incredible retake at that. But Nigma Galaxy, they saved by the bell. My God. As we're going to be seeing them turn their attention once again to B, this time though with a bit of a force spike.
All right, Shalala stopped the force spike last time. Not so lucky this time. Takes a bunch of damage, has to run away. With only 12 HP to play with. And B site, of course, that was completely abandoned. A gamble stack over on A. They're going to try and meet the aggression. And now what, boys and girls? You got a siege into the Spectres. There's no point in saving yourselves here. PTC's already been pinged.
Now,
Were those all the shots from the Headhunter?
Could have been, actually.
Oh, the crossfire is good. ZBOX just emerges from the brickwork. It is I, the master of the masonry. And the victim of the Marshal, John Olsen, unfortunately can't hit themselves a second headshot right there. And Johan's going to punish them. 4 Spectres will remain, but they can run full bonus here with a Blade Storm.
You said it quite well, actually. Chalala, he was going so heavy for that first pick. He expends all the ammo in that Headhunter. Has to resort to just a classic without armor for that final attempt at a kill, and he's just shredded by the Spectres. We see the full buy come out. There's Vandals around the board. The odd Phantom thrown in there. But for ZBOX, he has the knives ready, so he is just going to hold on to that Sheriff while the rest of his team play a bit of a bonus with the Spectres. It's going to be Nigma Galaxy's rounds to, at least on a bonus, try and make it 3-0. If not, it's Fullsense to try and hit there first.
Shalala gets out of there as soon as possible, but a couple members have been slowed. With Vandal in hand, there's no need to look for the greater weaponry. ZBOX considers going over. Don't get too much information, but they will get a reset here on the knives. An upgrade for Johan to a much better weapon as the Blade Storm tries to make itself scarce behind some greater cover. The bomb has been planted, and thus far, Nigma Galaxy is showing a big predilection towards B. But why not? It's working out for him so far, Kremer. Attempt at an entry, John Olsen leads the charge. ZBOX is waiting for anyone to show their faces. Wants to try and counter-rotate. They love family. Oh, they love this. 2 versus 2. But D is so low. They've already been pinged. Johan, it's a messy spray. Can they get themselves another? You bet that they can.
Doesn't matter how messy it is, Harry, if it works. And for Nigma Galaxy, that's a conversion on their bonus round as they now go 3-0 up. Now, bear in mind, Bruce, because there is such a distance between both A and B sites, people have said in the past that it could be slightly attacker-sided, but you can't go roundless on your defender's side. So you need to see a response from Fullsense and fast. It is going to be an eco. They just need to tank this and allow themselves to bring out their full weapons. So it is going to be the odd Marshal, the odd Sheriff. Nothing really to stop Nigma Galaxy, but maybe something to make it cost a bit.
Here's the Headhunter. Oh. Little Marshal. It's a little bit uncovered there for the Sova. It's okay. They believe themselves to be safe, and we'll see if that tends to be the case. I think it will be. Carl trying to build up towards this null command. might be very effective against someone like a Chamber. You can get a pulse off, stop them from using it at Rendezvous. Elsewhere, a single shot has been found to the back of Crazy Guy's head. And that's going to really nerf information gather here. SBU. They can smell another jet. Frenzy at this range, you could try and run and gun. Test the accuracy of his SBU. He's going to start to leave as this Cloudburst starts to de-bloom. Will need to be rechecked. But you can see right now that it's actually the Viper who's going to see the approach here of multiple players. Will not actually try. I'm surprised that they left that orb there, Kremer, given that they're one away from the Viper's pit. They had plenty of time to try and claim that previously. SBU coming in from the other side. John Olsen lost the duel. And now ZBU tries to move up upon high. But they don't have the accuracy to beat Lammy Snacks.
I tell you what, this is a laboured site take from Nigma Galaxy here, and they may very well take some damage trying to get away. Lammy Snacks leading the charge now. All of a sudden, this becomes a very attainable round here.
Flash's solid. Carl looks to try and beat out PTC now. But the Marshal is known to be an absolutely terrifying weapon on this. Does Astro want to try and play here for any kind of lineup? They send out the first. PTC once again trying their best not to be made a fool of by time itself. The spike begins to tick away and Astro feels that they've done enough. You're going to have to tap in once more. A jump spot. PTC certainly can't do this now. It's do or die. And I'm afraid for you, my friend, it might well be die. Oh, they just about get out of there with the rifle.
I tell you what, every single one of these rounds, Nigma Galaxy, they get an opening, then somewhere in the middle, there's the mush, where Fullsense completely turn the round around, and we see a complete turnabout, everyone dies, and then it goes to a 1v1, and then Nigma Galaxy win. It's not pretty, sure, but it's working, and they are 4-0 up, so they're getting their mileage from these weapons, and any hope of a bonus is kind of long gone at this point. They have had to reinvest because of the players who have been dying, and what this means, at least for Fullsense, is that they could very well exploit the fact that there is no money on Nigma Galaxy here.
Viper's Pit used here. Trying to lock down A, but you know what? Nigma Galaxy, they've always preferred B. The first 3 rounds were all about these B takes. And once again, we're going to have to try and beat out Shalala here, who admittedly has not had the... Oh! A little bit of a slow. Shalala has not had the greatest rounds here, but they're looking to try and turn that around now. The Vandal getting its man. Slow here onto Carl. Desperately moves themselves up towards this area to get themselves to plant at default. They will be noted, but Crazy Guy's got some good cover to play with. John Olsen's finally drawn out that operator. And the null command means that there's no abilities. It's gunplay only, baby, but gunplay's just fine for Chalala. That's 3 on the round. Chalala asked me, did you find me lacking? Did you believe that I had left this lobby between Haven and Breeze? Nay, leg day, nay.
Shalala is going to Shalala him way himself back onto that site. And I mean, he does so with some incredible prejudice. 3 quick kills, and well, for the members of Nigma Galaxy, they just stand a chance, Harry. I actually quite like how Chamber's being played on B at the moment. He's more like an info gather. Peeks, sees someone's there, teleports back, and then plays the retake. And that round has seen there. Shows how effective it can be. The ult management does mean that we are going to be seeing the ult management in favor of Fullsense there. There was the Viper Spit expended last round by the Love family. Unfortunately, with no presence at all on B, they were kind of shoehorned by that ult into the B execution. But if you're an NJX player, maybe you want to see what A sounds like.
PTC, this is very aggressive, trying to claim a huge amount of map control here up mid. Could be rewarded for such, but we're going to be going up against Carl. 1 duelist initiator versus 1 duelist initiator. Sends Carl running. Do they expect the crossfire here, though? It's a perfect bait and switch. But Astro's going to be discovered. John's going to have to leave this place, though, because they're down to 26 HP. It wasn't a clean execution, Kremer.
And it wasn't. And for John Olsen, this duel is going to be so much. ZBU, without an ARP, does still have a level 1 tap on headshot capability, but it doesn't have that an ARP does.
The tour de force is potentially available here, revealed by the recon bolt. Shalala knows that they've been noted here. Johan comes in from the other side. No rendezvous for you, mate. No more TPs. I refuse. Carl gets themselves yet another, and Shalala is removed with extreme prejudice. We're not going to allow them to clutch again. And John Olsen, yep, over to A, boys. This is already a save. They cannot risk ZBU getting that up.
Poison's off.
More importantly, they can't risk a collapse of their own economy, because while Fullsense have been killing players, sure, it's helped, but they haven't really been winning rounds. And so they just get the hell out of there. They hold on to their weapons, and they hope that maybe next round they'll have a bit more success. But honestly, Harry, NGX are looking to make this fairly one-sided.
The hunt here. Oh, ZBU wants a Christmas present, mate. And they're going to find themselves an op on the bad side. Johan. Oh, they make the sound here. John, they're going to be overwhelmed. Oh, they're going to pick up the op. They're actually opting out of it. Okay, this makes me believe that ZBU just does not like the offensive op.
Defensive op. That is really surprising. That's really surprising, considering how aggressive he is on the defense. What's the reasoning? You know, it's like he can only go good aggressive on the defender's side. Aggression on the attacker's side, nah. Need a rifle for that. Nonetheless, 5-1. If NGX can make it kind of 6-7-1 up, then we are going to be seeing a very, very one-sided scoreline, unless Fullsense can have a huge turnaround. Last time I played this map against Cloud9, it did go to overtime. But that seems like a pipe dream at this point.
Tour de Force is active. And so Chalala is scary. It kind of makes sense as to why you'd want to be the rifler as a jet here, just considering the composition of Nigma Galaxy. We don't really have someone who could play a faux entry when the jet is elsewise occupied. John, they might well test Carl here. And the Headhunter stands prepared. Having seen those traps, they can probably ascertain that the best weapon available is going to be on B. But we still want to test Chalala here. Interesting.
That they do with ZBU slowly pushing his way through mid. He's hoping for this bit of aggression, but Chalala, this chamber up will be so effective, Harry.
Welcome to my world.
All right. The hunting moving forward here. The Tour de Force unable to occupy any targets, and look at that, the distance has been closed. Shalala up close here. That's going to be a collateral. 2-1. It's okay, but I missed the first shot. I'm making up for it in the bad side. Astro round the back in a 1 versus 4, but it's 2 on the site who are ready to go in and meet them. All right, I'll call that an okay Tour de Force.
Oh, boys. I'm low on ammo, so you're going to have to share. 5-2. Remember, Harry, the last time we saw Fullsense play on Breeze, it was a 6-6 half, which then went to overtime. Something tells me maybe a little bit more one-sided against them here. However, if they can pull it back to 6, then they really are going to be in a comfortable position. Johan does have that neural theft. Lamisax is 1 away from his Hunter's Fury, and that's really it for ults that could have come online or are existing online in this round. So AIM is going to be the predominant factor. With John Olsen peeking behind this smoke, he could very well set himself up for an opening against ZBU.
Backed up here. Oh, the drone. May well have noted ZBU. It was up very high, though. So there's a chance that it was actually destroyed before ZBU was noted. And they're just going to fade away now to join the rest of their team who are set up outside of A. They will have to deal with a Viper wall here, Kramer.
Crazy guy. He's got to be so careful here. It's Astro's wall to go down, and that should alert the opposing Astro that our family. He's going to know an attack's coming, especially just how quick the rotation through mid be to help him.
All right, that's some great suppression right there. So the poison begins to come on down. Thus far, both of the duelists have been traded, but this is more of an issue for Nigma Galaxy when they might have trouble getting in onto this site. The neural theft drives multiple players back. And out comes the Hunter's Fury here. It's a touch late to try and catch someone who's planting on the default, but Carl has been spotted elsewhere. Astro just about manages to avoid that beam. You can see already this might be some long setups.
Oh,
Actually, it's a big flank coming through. Lammy Snacks is so accurate right now. But Astro just pokes around the pyramids, or as Pansy would call them, Madonna. Lammy Snacks is feeling awful isolated right now. In a 1 versus 2, they'll see the first head. That was a lovely little bit of spray control. A tap on the spike. And the delivery of the snake bite. damage done. Astro's so low, but they're just playing ring around the rosy. The only weapon I need is my own 2 feet, thank you, sir. Lammy Snacks may be able to get themselves to 4K, but they won't get themselves a 3rd round.
I'm really liking the retakes from NXG. They are really playing it well, and not even the retakes, the after plants. They get that spike down, and they just disappear like rats into the woodwork. And despite Fullsense showing up with a flamethrower, trying to flash them all out, they're only peeking one at a time. They're buying more and more and more time, and then eventually they peak. At which point it's already too late. NGX, sorry, a great round on their parts, and now we see the op. But on Crazy Guy.
Interesting choice. One of the greatest representatives of Vietnam stands with a high caliber weapon. John Olsen. Maybe doing the same right here. Yep, ZBU. Back behind the wall. Don't test that. However, they do try and make themselves a little bit of a fake jump peak here. Just while they're pinged, hoping that they could exploit potential weaponry information. However, no shots have been taken just far. Apart from Johan, of course, putting one into PTC's head. They don't know about the operator here yet. They desperately want to, though. And now they do. Both operators take themselves a scalp. As everyone takes out their counterparts. Sova on Sova, Jet on Jet, Chamber. Trying to get ahead of the curve right here. And ahead of the curve they certainly were, but Carl is better at adjusting the aim. Tests for tracking of Chalala, and Chalala is found to be wanting an easy plant in a 4 versus 2. Will this already potentially be called for a save as John Olsen? Never mind. Finds themselves Johan. And now needs to check the rest of mid. Makes their jump peak, but everyone playing behind cover. They do not want to test the capacity of John. They know just how scary they can be. So it's for Drone right now that's going to take the first peek. They'll see the... That's a runaway, boys. It's too far gone. They're too deep into their cover. They desperately want to save the operator.
They get the hell out of there. For NGX, it's going to be a matter of keeping this buy, keeping this investment. They still have the KO ult. They still have the Hunter's Fury to be expended, as well as the knives. I think they also have a near ult left, so... NGX literally couldn't be in a better position right now. You're 7-2 up on your map pick, on your attacking side with ults to throw at your opponents who have diddly squat to throw back. Yes, they may have rifles, but they don't have money, Harry. This is an exploitable position, and honestly, for Nigma Galaxy, they're doing everything they can to do just that.
I think everyone, 4 members of Fullsense are currently on half shields. Only the Viper has the full complement of armor to try and keep themselves safe. So it's going to be all about those one-taps. You don't want to take yourself sustained duel. That much I can guarantee you. It also means that Phantoms are going to be a lot more dangerous as well if you're engaging them at range. Won't be only with Vandals that can hit those one-shots.
For now, Carl. Ready to be flashed into away, and it looks like Nigma Galaxy is waiting for Fullsense to make a move. If you are Fullsense, you've really struggled in after plants, so you spend your time trying to stop your opponents getting to that position, which means probing for a kill, which means harassing them wherever possible. But for Johan, he's going to clear and see very quickly that this corridor is going to be completely clear. Maybe another avenue of attack as a flank comes.
Johan. They are going to be able to avoid the trademark here, at least for another moment. It's well placed by the chamber. And that will alert Lammy Snacks to the capacity for a flank as Crazy Guy. They're just holding this down with the operator, but the same can be said of John Olsen.
30 seconds left.
No Viper Ball is going to make a lot more difficulty for the side of Nigma Galaxy when it comes to an execute. And while there is scouts on the inside, the here is going to be able to find Carl. They weren't able to grab him while the molly's in hand. That was the 3B that they were looking for, and now it's going to have to be fought for as Carl just gets the pace. They run on forward. PTC surrounded on so many sides, but eventually notes that Johan's coming up from the top. The cyber cage comes on out, but guess what? The gap was mine all along. Fullsense pick up their third.
John Olsen is really keeping the team together right now. He is really delivering, and it's It's surprising how, on paper, ZBOX is meant categorically better than John Olsen. And when he has an op, I'm willing to garner that. Maybe he is. But when ZBOX has a rifle, John Olsen outclasses him. And now that we see John Olsen with that op, ZBOX doesn't want to fight him. He's not bringing out an op of his own. And it sort of hands that free reign of terror to John Olsen. And yeah, sure, Crazy Guy might try and trade it every now and then, but it's not enough.
All right, this is a very different speed right now. It's full steam ahead for Nigma Galaxy. Mate, you're in my territory. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. ZBOX makes the most of that Blade Storm and picks up a Vandal as a reward for their troubles. And already, this is very scary in the second to last round, the penultimate round of the half. The Seekers will come on forward. ZBOX might be forced to swap over to a Vandal to try and break some of those down. You don't want to be using your knives for these. The location is revealed. ZBOX catches some poke. They may well have been able to avoid that Seeker, but Carl and Johan, no one can avoid their bullets. Carl continues to be an absolute menace, but with only 4 bullets left in the Vandal, it's all about trying to close the distance onto John Olsen, and closed the distance is ZBOX. They took their moment to try and contemplate it, but instead takes a skin upgrade, stays on the Vandal, and this is bad news for Fullsense.
That it is now. For Fullsense, this is where things get very, very worrisome, because that was their rounds to turn it around. Just be able to make it 4-5 rounds. You can at least give yourself a bit of comfort moving on to your second half. But because they don't, because we see NGX able to take a force buy, all of a sudden, all that momentum's gone. They go to this round with an ult advantage, and for ZBOX, he's looking to exploit it with a very fast push down hall here.
I love the swap up. PT. Oh, what peel! You thought you could close the gap upon our Sova. And John Olsen was exactly right in that. John Olsen got 3! Is there anything more than this? Well, John Olsen is still alive. Anything is possible, but look at this. The spike. Oh, the spike. Oh, that's pain, Kremer. Still, with 1 minute, they can make themselves a long-winded rotation here. They can try and wrap around the back. They will have to deal with the trademark, and the range right now for Chalala is amazing. They have the Vandal. They can one-tap at range. John Olsen, they're going to be able to stare down this area with the Blade Storm.
Poison's off.
Astro has the Viper's Pit in their back pocket. That's the trump card, but you want to use it in a post-plant. And for a post-plant, Kremer, you need a spike.
That you do. Astro, he's kind of managed to avoid half these players. Unfortunately, that spike's on the wrong side of the door. Yep.
Fun. Oh, this is very interesting. Oh, that is not ideal. That is not ideal at all. The wall stopped exactly where they didn't want. Shalala simply stood on the other side and said, no chance, mate. A switch of sides. And we're going to just head on back and have a look at some first half highlights in a little bit. That is an unfortunate bit of... that's an unfortunate mechanic for the Viper's Pit right there.
Yeah, that it is, and that is pretty uncomfortable if you are one of the members of NGX. Bear in mind, your first half was so dominant. There was very good chance for you to exploit that. There was a very good chance for you to make that an exceedingly one-sided half. Don't get me wrong. 8-4 is a very pleasant sight, particularly having lost map 1, but it could have been better.
And now, as we go into our first half highlights, we have to try and contend with the fact, Kremer, that will they be able to do the same on their defense? I'm inclined to think that this is Nigma Galaxy's, because now we're likely going to see the old Jet Ops ZBOX will be able to return to their fiefdom of long-range supremacy.
And once ZBOX's feeling good, you know, there isn't much you can do. Granted, Shalala has had some great rounds, as has John Olsen. John Olsen particularly has been killing, even in the rounds they've been losing. But is this enough? Is it enough, Harry?
I feel like definitely this is a bit of a pocket pick map for the side of Nigma Galaxy. In Fullsense, they're trying their best to integrate the chamber into so many comps where even in this tournament, they haven't played the chamber that much before. Shalala playing it this time, and it was another player last time around. They're sorting out these chamber duties, but I feel like maybe Chalala got a little bit more value out of the Astra last time around. Admittedly, it would be very difficult for Chalala to get more value out of a different agent here on Breeze because the amount of value they got out of the Astra was simply supreme.
You're absolutely right. We're going to be seeing a fairly clean execution. It came towards the end there. LGX, towards the start of the half, a lot of their executions comprised of just ramming straight into them and hoping your trades went through. Towards the end of that half, they sort of got a feel for how Fullsense were poisoning their defense, and they were very good when it came to isolating 1v1s and then pushing from there. Now, that was all on your attacking side. Let's see what Nigma Galaxy can do when they move onto their defensive side, where, honestly, from there, that's where it matters. Fullsense, they're gonna be okay when they have their attacking side. We've seen what Joel Olsen can do with that up, but what absolutely matters, Harry, is the afterplants.
I miss Nax's shirt says, "Don't worry," but I can't help but feel that for Thai fans right now, there might be a little hint of worriedom, Kremer. There is. You don't want to be moving as a team that was in Champions into potentially a third map tiebreaker against Nigma Galaxy.
You're absolutely right. And honestly, with a scoreline like this, all this is going to do is embolden Nigma Galaxy with a bit of a default start. Very slow boost around from Fullsense. They're not going to commit anywhere just yet. That Headhunter is out on the chamber. It is instead going to be a slow round here with a bit of emphasis on mid.
Poison's off.
Of course, we do have a couple of changes on Breeze, which means that there needs to be a couple more corners checked over in the cave. It's no longer as free to try and locomote yourself through.
Here.
You can see the long sight line that's trying to be exploited by the chamber at the moment, heading down towards B, making sure that elbow is going to be depopulated. Multiple members might... Oh, no, it's only one member. It's going to be suppressed by that 0 point, and that's not a huge amount of information, as you would expect on a default for someone to be there, having a little bit of a look.
Over a mid crazy guy. Try to do the odd bit of damage where he can, but it's ZBOX to deliver.
ZBOX has made the ego buy with the jet. No utility and one big weapon. And they're putting that weapon to use right now. PTC, I believe, gets dinked through the wall, so they just about walk away with 1 HP. At this range, Love wins that with a classic. No way, bruv. No chance. Carl gets the upgrade to the Ghost, but the Headhunter at range hits body shot after body shot. One more round in the chamber. PTC with 1 HP! I don't need any spare, bruv. I'm good as I am. Cha-la-la.
Oh, my.
Well, that was a round of absolute minimums being made into absolute maximums.
Look at this here. Just flawless. 2 bullets, 2 headshots, and he may be on 1 HP, but unfortunately, it does not matter. What a round that was for Fullsense, and they show to NGX. Actually, we're still here. We haven't fallen asleep in the half at the halftime break, and we're ready to play. With Nigma Galaxy now having to eco, this gives Fullsense their chance to really get a bit of momentum back and narrow that scoreline a little bit. All of the endeavors from that first half from Nigma Galaxy are slowly being mitigated.
Astro has opted to try and play this one close, likely looking for a combination of decay damage and a right click from this classic, because they do not have the poison orb, which is a very important part of the Viper's kit to try and defend this area.
Toxin screen down.
Attack within the wall on the top of the screens, back down. Oh, John Olsen. Body shots are all you need when no one's got shields, boys. 101 damage to the body. And ZBOX been made to feel that the hard way. The Bulldog moves on forward, Johan moves on in. The peel is fantastic. Love for the family is certainly exhibited here by the Viper. Saving the chamber as Crazy Guy is pinged. No chance you're winning that one, mate. The Bulldog reigns supreme.
They make it clean as well. Not a single player falling means that you do get a big cash injection. And while you are able to use this as a chance to build your cash, going for the bonus now against the full buy. I wonder if the bonus is even attempted by Fullsense, remembering the fact that you still have a really tough position when it comes to round counts. Do you risk the full buy in exchange for potentially getting a round, or do you keep your bonus knowing full well there's a likelihood we see you go 9-3 down or 9-6 down?
Risks to be taken. A free ultimate orb here for whoever dares claim it. And I believe that's going to be the Viper that grabs it. The Viper's Pit now available. And while the Bulldog is not the ideal weapon to try and play within that particular ultimate, Crema, it still is fearsome for the rest of the team to try and play against. And I wouldn't mind using it here when you're up against a full buy to try and really break the economy over your knee.
I'm inclined to agree with you. It looks like we may see a bit of a flank here from Carl through the Viper's Pit.
Carl, that's a beautiful ping. Lovely stuff right there. Master stroke from Crazy Guy. We wanted to see them. We wanted to see them do some big things in this map. That was what I said Nigma Galaxy needed to do to grant themselves an advantage. And Crazy Guy certainly delivered in this case. A narrowed field of view right now as you stare down through the Marshal. Has been pinged, and as you try to leave, it's a freebie for Zesby.
Just like that, we're going to be seeing NGX, as mentioned, put their foot down, get that round, make sure that the bonus isn't converted, and that shutdown on the Viper's Pit, Harry, was just perfect there. The ping that came from Crazy Guy completely ruined the Love family, and it completely stops that attack from Fullsense onto that A site. There are no ults available, and while we will see a fairly big power spike next round by the ults that come up online, there's nothing here. No op either. It's rifles, standard utility, and a great deal of aim, which is going to bring you a victory here. And for Fullsense, I think that great deal of aim is going to assist them best over in mid.
6-9. It's a nice scoreline right now. Won't stay that way for long. Johan checks into elbow. It's time for a touch of scouting from mid. How much of this area really be challenged is the question. There's always the chance that Zesbu here could updraft over the wall. But they're not going to be finding anything now.
Stacks prepares to attack.
Here.
There's no trade yet, though. Instead, there's the entirety of Fullsense.
Here.
Are going to try an A site attack. Considering how badly it went last time, I'm surprised of how emboldened they are to do this.
Crazy Guy stands ready. Their job is to deal
that's amazing.
with the door, but the engagement's so strong. We wanted to see PTC and John Olsen showing off that synchronicity, showing off the chemistry, and in that entry they certainly did. But while Astro's still alive, you are still in danger. Minimal damage coming through from a shock dart, but PTC's got the element of surprise, and PTC's got aim in spades. There's going to be the bonus part here to get a little bit more cash. And when it comes to rifle versus rifle, Fullsense show their mettle.
That was absolutely flawless. That was absolutely flawless there by PTC. That flash to allow John Olsen to dive out from that position was absolutely incredible. And now he has those Seekers ready to be used as well. Sure, Astro has a Viper's Pit, but combined with the Seekers, if he's coursing it, he's going to be in a world of hurt. 97 the scoreline. 2 rounds separate Fullsense from their opponents at Nigma Galaxy. Nigma Galaxy desperately trying to claw themselves ahead over the line just so they can take us to Icebox, whereas the members of Fullsense want to close this out in 2.
Speed of movement here from Crazy Guy. They might be able to get the drop onto their counterpart. Lammy Snacks. They're being covered by the wall.
That's amazing.
This is an unconventional tactic. But Lamby Snacks might be able to see them as the wall drops. PTC. Oh, unfortunate, but I love the little tactic. Something different when you're playing off the back of a limited buy. Maybe that
really
one was scouted out. I love that new sheriff. Well, it's not that new anymore, I suppose, but the Mage Monk sheriff hits different, Crema.
We're all
Question
thinking
is,
counts new.
Will Carl hit different in this case? A flashbang through the wall. The exit only into so many rifles. The Vandals are well trained. ZBU can't get anything done. There will yet again be a bonus plant. A flawless round for Fullsense, who are beginning to recapture the magic of an SEA team that represented their region at Champions.
They talk about recapturing the magic. It feels like rekindling the fire. We see a quick timeout get called now, and in this timeout, we're going to see these teams figure out what to do next. The players of Nigma, they look laser focused right now. No more fun and games, no more enjoying yourselves. This right now is the nitty gritty Valorant that's required to make your way through the lower bracket. The null command is available for the KO. The knives are available for the jet, but they can be instantly cancelled out by aforementioned null command, as well as the seekers for the sky. I'm really interested to see if this command is going to be used as an offensive weapon or a defensive weapon when we see the retakes get queued.
Certainly. The capacity for a retake off the back of that is huge, but look at that. We finally have it. ZBU, an operator in hand, full armor.
Oh, no.
Is the power spike for Nigma Galaxy. If they lose this round, if the operator does not prove to be the Thor's hammer of defense, Crema, then this might be a 2-0.
It very well could be. Particularly if he's killed instantly. So if he's killed instantly, look at the credits available for Nigma Galaxy. There isn't any. There is a lot riding on this round. If ZBU dies instantly, not only will his confidence be shaken, but the mere option of bringing an op out again is going to be gone. And unfortunately for him, Fullsense, they're not even humouring to push away here.
However, the stack is heavy on B, and Johan's already taken down John Olsen. What are your options now for the entry? It's going to have to be somewhere else, and it's a fake. Everyone's gone over to A. They tried to get ZBU to move, but now ZBU has the oversight that they want. They decide not to shoot the drone for a while, as they were unnoted for but a moment, and now, oh no. Well, welcome to early 2021, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lineup City!
There are, oh my god, these are a lot of lineups as well.
Someone's got to get her someone's got to take initiative here, Crema. Someone's got to take initiative and start to mess with all of these players, but it's LammySnax who's messing at the moment. Maybe an attempt to try and get this. SBU, one shot to the back of the head. What about that operator? It's down on the ground right now, and maybe there's going to be a chance to get this defuse. It's desperately going to be attempted, but LammySnax has played for time perfectly. This was the worst possible outcome for the side of Nigma Galaxy.
Fullsense use every single lineup I think available to them there. And honestly, if you are Nigma Galaxy, what can you do to defend that? You can't expend the no command. Carl was the first casualty of that entire round. And with the commitment of the knives, with the commitment of the Viper's Piss as well, it still wasn't enough. And with those huge commitments, we see the ult advantage heavily in favor of Fullsense now. They have that Hunter's Fury. They have that rifle from Chamber. More importantly, the Blade Storm is there for when their economy could and potentially will get shaken.
In Lineup City, what makes someone a criminal? Honestly, the second that they heard everyone running away, should have just charged Cave. They couldn't have allowed them to exist there for long. John Olsen, it's a messy spray. But they don't suffer too much for it, and Carl is once again low. Ooh, Zesty. Okay. LammySnax is down, but now PTC is waiting on the other side, and PTC, their patience is rewarded. Johan! Johan! No! Yes! Wait, pause, champ? Okay, John Austin gets onto B site. It's been a little bit of a wild one, boys and girls. But admittedly, it needed to be a wild one. You weren't going to be able to beat out the Vandals of Fullsense with half-baked strategies. Look at this. Crazy guy. They managed to pick up the Vandal from the fallen LammySnax on the way through. And now, could they get eco'd? John Olsen's going to have to go up against Astro. They have a huge advantage here, 63 HP. But no! One headshot from Astro! And that was Chalala versus the world. They have themselves a Headhunter. They have a Vandal as well. The ultimate won't be much use here. Carl takes the peak. They move on in. The first Vandal falls. But now everyone else has got their loot. Chalala, can they do it by themselves? I don't think they can, Kremer. And there should be just enough time to breathe a sigh of relief if you're Nigma Galaxy.
It took them a long time to get this round. I can't help but think that while they were able to make it 10, sure, it was such an ache to get here, it can't help but feel like a bit of a death rattle, as how consistently are we going to see Fullsense offer their back to their opponents like that? Granted, the ult availability now for Fullsense is getting scary, particularly with the Viper's Pit coming online this round. We're going to have to see some incredible spouts of aim. Luckily, off the merits of that victory, ZBOX brings out an op of his own. But once again, NGX don't have money.
Buying down to the bottom of the barrel, but the operator is once more. Look at the speed of this. Are they going to use for bird dive again? That's the question. Here comes the bird dive, boys. That's a full blind. John Olsen had no idea. And everyone else is stuck within the Hunter's Fury. The execution is strong. And the guillotine's blade is sharp. Your attempts at the operator have been denied, good sir. A 1 versus 3. Johan has 30 HP to play with. This might be a recovery operation here to try and grab the operator, but this site is locked down tight. Johan wins that duel uncannily, in fact, against thee. Shalala, will they try their luck?
All I can say to that is wow.
Their entries from the door are mad, and Johan's making quite a bit of noise here for a site they know is occupied. I don't like it.
Oh, boy. We're going to be seeing a very tough position now if you are the members of NGX. Not only do you not have money, but you're also on the absolute precipice of losing this lead. And when you're this late into the map, losing this lead could very well mean losing both the game, the series, and in this case, for NGX, the tournament. With Vandals around the board, it was a mere expenditure of the Hunter's Fury last round. There are still ults available if you have Fullsense, and this time you have that Viper's Pit to complement you. There's a foray down mid by the members of NGX, but is it expected? This hero Vandal, what can Crazy Guy do?
Nothing. Says absolutely not. However, the Cloud Burst allows for ZBOX to get it in hand. And Astro, they've done well before off the back of this Sheriff. They've got an engagement range where they aren't going to suffer from damage drop-off too much, especially against John Olsen. Ambi Snacks, you can see this pre-aim. They're waiting for the incoming recon darts. That's a full blind, beautifully done, but John Olsen has managed to avoid it, and you can't avoid John Olsen. They easily slay the entry of the pistols. 4 ultimates are now available to guarantee match point for Fullsense and potentially guarantee the losers finals.
They do so. They do so while taking the lead. We see a quick disconnect there. Hopefully Crazy Guy can get back here momentarily. However, it looks like it will be a quick pause called by Nigma Galaxy. Understandably so, because this is a really, really uncomfortable position to be in. There's, I want to say, enough if you're Nigma Galaxy to be able to win this round, but without that op on ZBOX, it's going to be a push with rifles to hope for the best. The trades, though, are there.
Carl is traded, but to be honest, getting rid of PPC is super important, especially with those Seekers available. Crazy Guy. Oh, they were testing it. They avoid a duel with John Olsen for now. And it feels like A is getting a lot of attention at the moment from both defense and offense. Look how low ZBOX is. There's no healing on this roster. Damage taken is permanent. Astro's so low. ZBOX with 5 HP is going to try their best here to play. Well, to be fair, you can play within the Viper's Pit. It doesn't matter. You're only losing 4 HP. A wallbang headshot puts their life to an end already. John Olsen, do they know about this corner? They see the barrel through this. That's got to be match point. Fullsense. Their aggressive side here is certainly paying dividends. From 8-4, Crema, to 12-10.
This has been a monumental comeback, if you are Fullsense. And honestly, one to be very bloody proud of, because there hasn't been any response from Nigma Galaxy, not without trying. John Olsen has just been tearing through them with some incredible jet plays. Of course, we see John Olsen, he's not scared to bring out the op on the attacking side, and he's about to show you exactly why. It's a slow start from Fullsense, but with the ult advantage, it needn't be. ZBOX trying to go for the high ground, looking to peek mid, and
Pause champ, John Olsen. John Olsen. All right, you only get one.
Toxin screen down.
That's all you get. V.
Get out of my way.
Poison's off.
Waiting for this to drop away. The Blade Storm invested. The Tour de Force will be unavailable. But there are still
I've
rounds
got
to
your
play with
trail.
here. Specifically, there are 2 rounds to play with here. Oh, that's damage done. At long range, PTC has been slain. 4 versus 3. This cannot be fumbled. This must win for Nigma Galaxy. Otherwise, their run in the Zotac Cup is over. Lammy Snacks destroys the tripwire. Their location is revealed as they are tagged from the camera. And now the defenders begin to coalesce. Johan needs to take their time. Lammy Snacks might well be pinged here, but no. John Olsen with the op makes their move. Johan's down, but while you're pulling back the hammer, once more, the hammer's laying down by Crazy Guy. 2 versus 2. They've managed to even these up. Carl's going to try and take this as best they can. But while the drone is being controlled, Lammy Snacks falls on down. The necessity to invest the Viper's Pit right here. And the rescue of the op. V is once again doing it with the lineups. Astro's going to try their best to just hold it down here. They've got themselves the half. And Carl will lose the duel. Will it be Smoke Criminal once more? They try their best to hold it. And they just about get it by the skin of their teeth. But this is economically ruinous.
this is soul crushing if you are Fullsense. That was your rounds to win. That was it. That was the game. But no, we see it just clinched by Nigma Galaxy, and now they have ults to play with. Lammy Sachs just one away from bringing out the Hunter's Fury, but Hunter's Fury to what avail? That was your rounds to win. We see Nigma Galaxy. There are weapons to play for, sure. They have that Bulldog, that Spectre. There are holes in this economy, but well, it doesn't matter what weapons sometimes. It feels like Nigma Galaxy, if there ever was a team to make this work, it would be them.
SBU with a Mega Jet confidence. What can it gain? The operator position is revealed at the top of halls right here, and it's actually dropped away, I believe, to play with a Vandal instead. Chalala suspects that maybe once more there will be a cheeky flank around the back. Fool me once, say Fullsense. Shame on me. Fool me twice. You're going to be going after Chamber. PTC is suppressed and decayed here. So they're forced to move away, and they got nothing off the back of their Trailblazer. And once more, time, Crammer, time.
12 to 11, Harry. A minute remaining. Fullsense looking to make their way to our semi-finals. Can they break Nigma Galaxy? Or are the Ragtank team of Renegades going to show them that they too mean business?
Oh, Carl decided to move first. They were getting a little bit too antsy. Astro in the corner here with a Spectre. It's not the best weapon, but maybe it can do something. No, the combined fire of PTC and John Olsen makes everything work. ZBOX is still alive with this Blade Storm, but there's still going to be a plant. You've got to worry about the lineups here. John Olsen up against ZBOX. This is the long range we wanted to see. Can they hit the headshot? It's a huge flick! ZBOX versus the world, and they cannot bear the weight. Atlas may well have shrugged, but the differential goes the way of Fullsense.
It comes at a great price. You make Fullsense sweat a lot. You make them have to drag themselves through that series, but eventually they are able to emerge victorious. We could have seen any team win that match, and I'd have said fair enough, they deserve it. Both Nigma Galaxy and Fullsense played out of their minds, but it's Fullsense over on Breeze, who are able to show Nigma Galaxy why they are one of the best in APAC.
Fullsense, they have booked their ticket to the losers finals. They're guaranteed the top 3 here at Zotac Cup Valorant. But Crema, they have been made to sweat for it, and every single team that is in this bracket will continue to test the champions representative of SEA, the one who slew so many teams at the APAC LCQ. They took out some teams from Korea as well. They took out teams from Japan, all across Asia. They needed to take down foes, but now it's in their own backyard of Southeast Asia that they are finding themselves the most tested.
You're absolutely right. And for Nigma Galaxy, sure, you get 0-2'd, but that was by no stretch of the imagination a one-sided series. It easily, just by 5 rounds difference, could have gone their way. And it was just in 1 or 2 crucial rounds, we see Fullsense exploit them to take that victory. I cannot wait to see more of Nigma Galaxy because, honestly, they are a team that are on the up.
Let's have a look at our highlights, and let's also talk a little bit more about potentially the future of Nigma Galaxy here, Crema, because as we highlighted at the beginning of this series, this is kind of the starting gun for APAC Valorant in 2022. And Nigma Galaxy, I think they could have got some of those 5 rounds we talked about really being the difference makers if they just have a little bit more of their coaching focused towards how to win rounds against lineup Larrys. And if they can learn how to play against that more affirmatively and with a little bit more efficacy, they start to get a couple more of these rounds. We see things like maybe Breeze being claimed, or at least overtime being clinched.
Something I would like to see as well for Nigma Galaxy is not so much the ability to play lineups at the end, but I would love to see ZBOX get a bit more comfortable using the op on that attacking side. I think that we've seen how, frankly, breathtaking he can be on the defense. You sort of hinder yourself by only being able to deliver that schooling on half the map.
That's true, but in order to make that work, would we have to see more of a full rework of Nigma Galaxy where they have sort of like a secondary entry? Because one of the things that I think holds them back from playing that attacking AWP was that if we look at where the op would be used on Nigma Galaxy on this offense, who's going to do the entry? Is it going to be the KO? Would you run it with the Viper? It might require like a more holistic look at how entry into sites works for this team. And ZBOX is certainly, as we saw in the highlight just there, a very brazen entry. They're happy to just hard double you with the Blade Storm in hand.
Well, here's the thing as well. Carl, historically, has been completely fine to play Arena. So I really would like to see the double duelist get played a little bit more by Nigma Galaxy. And then we get to see that op come out on ZBOX a little bit more. And it also means that default becomes a little bit more effective. Right now, their default is extremely aggressive. They spend that whole default just pushing into their opponents, and they just happen to get to a site sometimes. It's why on Haven we saw so many lurks come out, because of just how aggressive the default is. For Fullsense, they are caught off guard by it, I think. That's why they have made comebacks in both the maps they won. Nonetheless, though, Fullsense, I mean, where do we start? These guys play so damn well.
Yeah, let's have a little bit of the Fullsense congratulatory talk. I'll tell you what, if you want to raise the profile of SEA Valorant, what you need to do, go into the Twitch chat or the YouTube chat of your favorite Valorant analyst and ask them to have a look at how Fullsense execute from halls into A. The way that PTC and John Olsen play that together is almost irreconcilable for the defense. It works almost every single time, and they get so much space, and they create so few safe zones for the defenders to exist in.
I am going to correct you slightly there, Harry. It's not almost every time. It's every time. There was not there was not one execution where that didn't work. That's how effective it is. And you know your strat's effective when if your opponents know it's coming and it still works.
What do we do?
Yeah, it's like they sort of throw their hands up and go, well, sod it, you know, what do we do? Just take it, I guess, because that's all they really got to. Nigma Galaxy were given the runaround there, and for Fullsense, that is really just one little key to some very effective executions they had on hand here.
I am very excited for SEA Valorant in 2022. And SA Valorant is only getting stronger and stronger. We've seen teams like Team Exploit out of Pakistan taking maps away from these rosters. We can head over to our match MVP soon, as that is the conclusion of our highlights. Who ended up with our Zotac Cup
No
Valorant match
surprise.
MVP? Yeah, you guys knew it was coming here on Breeze 28, 16, and 5. 338 ACS. John Olsen is a beast.
I think beast pretty much a nice way to describe it, isn't it? John Olsen is just good, man. He's just something else. And with such a convincing performance from him, I would love to see if there's any response to him in the continuation of this lower bracket. Do Kingsman or Action PH have anything to stop him?
Oh, well, previously, it feels like Kingsman have found a way to try and mess with John Olsen, and it may well come in the form of the one and only Nomfu. It's bloody scary in his own right.
Yeah.
And here's a look at our scoreboard. Johan actually topping it for the side of Nigma Galaxy. Did pretty well on the Cypher, despite very, it felt like they weren't engaged into a huge amount. Enigma Galaxy, they definitely got a huge amount of value out of their B play, which I suppose is well reinforced on the flanks by the Cypher.
You're absolutely right. However, that is going to be it for this matchup. Fullsense 2-0ing Nigma Galaxy in an absolute bloodbath of a match. However, that isn't all for Valorant we have today, Harry. Oh, no, no, no. We've got our upper bracket next, where we're going to be seeing Action PH versus Kingsman. Before we head over to that, though, let's see what our third map would have been. It was Icebox, wasn't it? I kind of would have liked to see that.
I would have
Even
liked to
though-
have seen it as well, because
yeah.
we finally would have got to have seen the Carl Rayner.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
Carl has been... I definitely think they played better on Haven than they did on Breeze, despite the scoreline being closer on Breeze. I think that maybe there's a little bit more that Carl can do to become a touch more effective, or at least comfortable, on the KO. I think they definitely got more mileage out of their flashes and their swings on Sky compared to KO, where the flash drives, I think, were quite easily predicted and avoided by Fullsense.
No, you're absolutely right. I also would have liked to have seen Zespu. I think if there was Carl on that radar, Zespu would have been upping a little bit more over on that attacking side. However, they don't get to see it because Fullsense just happens to be that bit better. Because, my God, they are both talented teams. But as we said before, talented teams are all we have for you today.
Let's have a look at some of our MVP standings. See our Zotac MVP standings, I believe we have coming up next. And I mean, there are so many options, Kramer, and there are only 3 series left in which to try and build up these points. SBU remains at the top with 5 MVPs gained, but John Olsen, they have started to enter the fray. Basically, second place is almost tied at the moment. Of course, the differentiator here is the ACS, but John Olsen's got a couple more series to try and pick up more MVPs.
That he does, and now he is here. Now he is feeling it. Maybe this is where we see John Olsen pull ahead, maybe even try and challenge Zesbu for that first place.
Of course, it was Georgie who they kicked off that 4th spot there, but you're going to be seeing Georgie a little bit later today playing for Action PH. They're in the winners' finals, Kramer. They're going up against Kingsman. And Georgie versus Nomfu, I keep going back to these Jet duels, but it's just because they're so flashy, they're so fun to watch. Here's a look at the bracket. Like we said, Kingsman versus Action PH in that winners bracket final, so that we can figure out who's going to the losers bracket to try and take out Fullsense, and who's going to be waiting in the grand final to get a big old chunk of cash out of that 15,000 USD prize pool here at Zotac Cup Valorant.
I like a big chunk of that prize pool, Harry. That's money. Everyone loves money. Do you like money?
I like money, Kramer.
I like money too. I tell you what, we're going to see who's able to take that money, because in just a moment we'll have Action PH versus Kingsman. I think we go to camera here, actually. Is there more to say, Harry? This is first day of our production.
I suppose it's just exciting, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Nomfu on Kingsman, definitely someone to watch. But for me, also on Action PH, I believe Tesseract on the Sova is someone who continually impressed me. We've cast a little bit of Action PH before, and certainly Tesseract was someone who continued to demand attention, someone who could not be left behind. And when you think about how good Tesseract is on the Sova, maybe when you're looking towards that map draft, you might decide to go for something that's a little bit more like, I don't know, a Fracture or a Split, where they're going to be forced to play the Breach instead. I'd love to see some competition of Breach between these SEA teams, because at the moment we've been denied the Breach. Well, that's simply by the maps that have been picked. You can figure out all these answers and more by subscribing to the Esports Club YouTube channel here, to make sure that you know when the winners bracket finals goes live. It'll be here on this channel. We will see you for that.